Good evening. Welcome to NUFC Talk TV. I have the panel in front of me, as you can see, and we are going to be reviewing and analysing the game today against Wolves at the Molineux. Bit of a crazy day, but before we get into the panel and we say hello, let's do some housework and we'll crack on with the show. Welcome to all that's watching across all the platforms. Thanks to all the mods that work in the background. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoy the show, or even dislike. It just helps us get further as a channel to other NUFC supporters. I'm going to say subscribe. It's totally free. Hit that bell for any future content. We're doing 7 days a week, so there's always stuff coming your way. So if you hit the bell, you will be notified. If you want to support us and help us grow, then become a member for a small fee. That'll just give you a chance of members-only content, as well as a chance of winning prizes. Don't forget to check out our webpage, nufctalk.tv, for any of the news or up-and-coming content that we get from sources. It's totally ad-free. We do it for the love of the club. So again, if you've got 5 minutes sitting on the loo and you want something to read, have a look at that. If you've got a question for myself or the panel, then please put a Q in front of that question, just so we're able to notify it and we will highlight it and have a chat with the panel. Apologies about not mentioning all the views, but obviously we can't just get everybody on the show when we've got lots to discuss. But if you want to guarantee it, then use the $sign. Follow the instructions, and that will guarantee that message read out. Any members or new members and gifted members will be highlighted as we go through the show. So that's getting rid of that little bit. So, gentlemen, a 2-1 win. The best start to a season in 24 years, and yet we're still not happy. It's weird, isn't it, to get this feeling of, you know, we are as good as we were 24 years ago at the start of a season, without a loss, 10 points on the board, sitting third in the Premier League, and yet we're still scratching our heads. I'm going to go around the table just to, you can introduce yourself if you, obviously everybody's got names in front of them, so that's cool. Just give us a small view on what you thought the game was like and everything else. And then we'll get into more detail as we go on. So, Happy Clapper, over in Madeira. What's your thoughts, my friend?
Happy clappers, but are we happy clappers? I don't know. I said before the match kicked off, I was not happy at all with the lineup. But what I said was, if at the end of the day we get 3 points, you've just got to put your hands up and say, Eddie knows better than I know. At half time even, I said, if he brings Tonali and Barnes on now, da-di-da-di-da, you still can't give that as a win to Eddie. You can't call it brilliant management because, where could we have been if the start? So that's why I'm in the shade now, in the shade. I've still got a lot of lights on because the results, it's a results-driven business, and Eddie, by hook or by crook, is getting the results. So, come Fulham, I am going to be saying, if he has not learned his lesson today, when the hell is he ever going to learn his lesson?
Yeah.
And so, again, I'll be having almost identical conversation next week that I had today if he doesn't start Tonali and Barnes. It's to me, it's as plain as the nose on your face. But the bottom line is, it's his job to get. I thought the most telling shots on the television today were when you saw the triumvirate sitting together in the stands. Eales, Mitchell, and Bunce. Did they look? This is when we're getting beat 1-0. And the three of them were looking very smug to me, as much as to say, I think we might have him here, lads. And then in the second half, when we scored the second goal, They put the cameras on them again, and they didn't have that little twinkle in their eye or that little glint that was there. And they said, "Oh, fucking hell, he's done it again." And that's exactly the point. Fucking hell, he's done it again.
Yeah,
And as long, listen, as long as he keeps on doing it, he ain't getting no complaints from me.
Yeah, cool. It was really funny because I think we played, or we saw them three more than we saw Longstaff on the cameras. Rowley, your opinion, sir?
I thought the first half in particular was almost the exact opposite of the Bournemouth game, because we started really well, had control of the game. I'm lucky not to go 1-0 up when Gordon hit the post. And then they caught us on the counter and we sort of fell apart. I was a bit surprised at the starting lineup. Obviously, I wanted Tonali to start. I thought they'd start at Hall at left back. I was thinking, well, we're going to be attacking more against Wolves than we were for the likes of Spurs. So you need a more, you can get away with a more attacking fullback. I was surprised that he put Barnes on the bench, but I was really pleased he made the changes at half-time. Though I thought for the first 20 minutes, it wasn't making much of a difference. I think that Wolves were still all over us. Then we got control and we had a period of about 20 minutes, which is when we actually got the goal, the first goal. And then, like the end of the Bournemouth game, we went to get the win. And, oh, what a goal by Harvey Barnes.
What a goal.
And, yeah, you can say that, have a go at Eddie for the lineup. But as you say, at the end of the day, it's results that matters, and we got the win. I'm sure that people are going to be critical of Longstaff, but I was thinking about it after the game, and I think half the problem is that when we don't play well, he looks really bad because he's not at the level of the rest of the players. But when we're playing well, you don't notice him. He does a really good job. I mean, he was getting into some good positions. He had a beautiful pass to Murphy who got in the first half. So he did some good stuff. But when the team as a whole not playing well, after that first 20 minutes or so, he sticks out like a sore thumb. But when we're playing well, you can see what he does. Because he hasn't got that technical ability to change a game, he sticks out a bit like a sore thumb. But I think they're the right changes. I don't think he wasn't great, but I don't think he was like awful in the first half. I thought the first 20 minutes, I thought he was decent, and then he drifted. And you look at Bruno, for example, he was anonymous for most of the game. He had that one. In the first half, had that one recovery tackle. We didn't do much other than that. Whether that's from coming back from Brazil and playing straight away, I don't know. But
or it could be tactical. It could be tactical because he seemed as if he was homing in on Andre and Lamina, and then obviously you've got Kuna that plays in that 10 slots, and obviously Kuna's their danger man. I mean, obviously. When the way they play with this 4-4-1-1, Kuna plays in a bit of a 3-4. I think the first 20 minutes where we obviously dominated the ball, they set off us a little bit, really deep. If you look at where the positions the lads was.
Is it just me, or has Gary's mic gone a bit funny there?
His mic's gone funny.
Your mic's gone funny. Yeah.
What's happened? What's happened to the mic?
That's it. That's fine there now.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, I don't know what happened.
You're going all Norman Collier on us a minute ago.
Oh, yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, it could be just the stream. I have got lots going on, to be fair. And I turned around and I looked at where he was playing, and it looked like he was solely asked to do a job on Cunha. And if you notice through today, Cunha didn't really get involved, did he? A lot more than what we used to. AG, thanks ever so much, buddy. Eels, Mitchell, and Bunce are all the Coots twats. There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you, my friend. So yeah, I mean, I get your point, and like I say, sometimes you do have to take one of your players out of the game, and sometimes I do feel that there's other players that could have done the similar role, and maybe that nullified us a little bit after the first 20 minutes when we started to distribute the ball poorly. So yeah, it's a good call, mate. It's a good call. Dom, what's your shout, buddy? Oh, sorry, mate. Yeah, carry on.
The other thing that I wanted to mention, I thought that Anthony Gordon looked more like himself from last season. I thought he was really good going forward, but he's getting no protection from the ref. But
well, the ref again was shocking. But I don't think you can blame our performance on the ref necessarily.
Oh no.
Not today. He tried to let the game flow.
But I struggle to see your positive points about Sean, to be honest, because what Sean, you say when we play well, it looks as though Sean plays well. That's just because the other two are just carrying.
He did make some good passes. He made some. He got into some good positions.
But he lost the ball. I don't know how many times.
Everyone did. I mean, though our ball retention was better this game, everyone was losing the balls. I think he just gets picked on because he's Sean.
Yeah, I agree with you to an extent, really. I do, but it doesn't help himself. I don't think.
Yeah, no. that's fair point. But as I said, I don't think he was that bad today. He wasn't great, but he wasn't bad.
No, he wasn't the only one today, was he?
Yeah.
Let's get other people's opinions, and then before we move on to some stats and stuff like that. Dom, give us your shout, buddy.
Okay, hi guys, thanks for giving me a minute because I'm still excited about the win. I'm going to start. I'm going to start with an unpopular opinion. I thought this game, the Wolves game, was an Eddie Howe masterclass.
Okay.
I thought it was an Eddie Howe masterclass. Like everyone else, I was disappointed that Sonali didn't start ahead of Longstaff. Like many people, not everyone, but many people, I felt that Longstaff was making a lot of critical errors, and one of them actually resulted in a goal. I mean, I understand that that no one's perfect and all that, but Longstaff, at least, okay, let's just talk about this game, right? His turnovers actually were dangerous for us. So I thought Longstaff didn't do well. Yeah, I agree that he's a great, he's a great workhorse. He does his best. He runs hard. He plays hard. But if you make critical errors, which translates into very risky transitions against us, then I think that's a problem. But I think it's a Howe masterclass because he saw some errors. He saw that Wolves were playing in a certain way, which made Murphy and Isak ineffective. So he changed it up as well, because I had some shouts on the table where I was like, why did they take Isak off and all that? But I agreed, because I didn't think that Isak's style of play maybe suited what Wolves were doing to us. So he changed it up. He was brave enough to change it up, and I applaud him for it. And obviously, when the second half, when the lineup came out in the second half, it was a different ball game for us. So yeah, so I mean, I've commented as much on my personal pages as well, saying that who knows if we started with what we had in the second half, if we started with them, would it be better? Maybe, but I have always believed that Howe has this plan, playing Longstaff. I don't understand it, but I think he has a plan, right? So but maybe if we didn't, if we weren't down 1-0 by half time, maybe we would be still critical of his plan, right? But I believe he had a plan, right? And maybe he had to fast forward that plan because of that goal. But whatever he did, I think it was. I think it bore fruit, right? I think he did right. So he may not have started perfectly, but I think he made amends. So yeah, like same with everyone else. I hope he learns from this. He gets better and better. And tough 4 games, 10 points, and well, we'll need all the points we can get because it's only going to get tougher from here, right? I think the next 8 or 10 games is going to be nightmare. But yeah, I'm looking forward. It's positive for me.
Well, we've got Fulham next, and then we've got Wimbledon. So we've got a couple of games before the tide turns. So let's not be too hasty, eh? Have you got to go, matey, Dom, or can you stay?
No, I mean I can stay for a while unless you guys want to kick me out at school as well.
No. You, as I said, I know it's late over there.
What time's it there, Tom?
Right now it's 4:45 a.m.
That's commitment for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'll probably go to sleep. I'll probably go to sleep within the next 30 minutes or so. So it's all good.
Yeah.
I mean, I do enjoy hearing you guys talk. I mean, I learn a lot from you guys, right? Because I don't know anything about football, so I'm grateful to.
Well, it's
hear what you guys
interesting to have your opinion, mate. But like I say, if you need to go, just give us the thumbs up and disappear, my friend. All right? Because I know, like I say, it's sometimes quite hard on you this time of the day because of your early mornings and then work tomorrow. It's not good.
That bloody World Cup, yeah.
Okay, the positive thing is tomorrow, for the next 2 days, from Monday and Tuesday, it's a bank holiday for Malaysia, so it's all good.
No. Another one.
Superb. Yeah, yes.
Yes.
Dom has more holidays.
Malaysia's
than the
famous
Queen,
for bank holidays.
or should I say the King now? Nothing related to Newcastle, but to be fair, a really good player, one that I watched growing up. Apparently, Gary Shaw has passed away.
Sorry?
Player from Gary Shaw, the player from Aston Villa, has passed away.
Wow.
I hadn't heard that he was unwell, so all my condolences to his family.
Sure, he's younger than me.
He was a very good player. Yeah, I think he was around my age, mate. It's interesting. Go on, Roy. Give us your feed, mate, because I know this is. Should I need to take my headphones away?
Right.
Well, starts with the lineup. Shocking. Just like everybody else, anyway, because we thought after what Tonali did, what else does he need to do? Then Willock was fit to be on the bench. I thought, okay then. But if Eddie's going to say, I've done this, so I've got impact on this, just in case I need it, it's wrong. Because your impact will be forward play, not a number 8 or a number 6 and stuff. And if he did, he would have put Osula on, which he didn't. What I think is, he's probably cocky or he's just stubborn. I've got no clue why Longstaff was there. And game after game, it just shows that he's absolutely utter useless. And before that, he caused the goal. He did, didn't he?
He lost the
Before
ball,
that-
but it was defending
Yeah.
that cost him
I
the
think
goal.
so.
He offers nothing going forward. He offers nothing defensively. He runs around like a lost. He's just lost. Somebody lost. Doesn't do anything. But the funny one was, I think in the first, 12 or 13 minutes, he actually passed the ball onto the referee. Did you see that? That was probably his only 100% pass.
Yeah.
Well, he's like 3 meters away and he whacks it straight into the ref. The
I know.
kid he's not a Premier League footballer. Full stop.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you.
to
But I mean,
disagree with that last bit,
the ball
Roy.
that he played into Isak, or tried to play into Isak, that was cut out. Unfortunately, what had happened is obviously we had then started to overcommit certain individuals. Louis Saul had made a run to try and do the overlap on the left, and that pass alone. And again, this is where I always say about percentages. When you're in a position like that, and there's a percentage that's chance that you're going to lose the ball when you've got players committing out of position, then you have to think about keeping the ball, either with you or pass it simple. When you try and attack through the middle, the chances of you losing the ball are very high. And that's what I said. Sometimes it's decision making. It's not his ability, because I think he can play football. I just think sometimes as a footballer at that level, the decision making that you make can make a massive difference. And I think sometimes because of his lack of understanding of what the dangers are at that time, it makes it look half as bad. But I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I was watching him today trying to work out the plan, and obviously we know how. Sorry, buddy, go on. I don't want to go on your feet.
Thing is, he wasn't. I'm not going to use him as a scapegoat for what happened in the first half. The goal was his fault. The defender should have. I think Burns should have done better. Should have went for that tackle before the lad went through and passed it. You know who's shocking for me today? Joe Linton, absolutely shocking today. Shocking.
Yeah, he was.
Nothing. And congratulations, 4 yellows in 4 games. 1 more from suspension.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't start him next game as well. So him and Longstaff should not start the next game. Well, actually, you know what? No. Yeah, don't start the next game. So use him for City. Maybe he might smash a few City players. Because I think that would suit him better. City game will suit him better. Don't play him in that game.
Okay.
Bruno, completely invisible first half. When Tulani came on, you saw a bit of Murphy just.
I slightly differ there. I would definitely play him against Fulham.
Yeah, but if he gets a yellow, he misses City.
And I would say
he'll miss the Wimbledon game.
No, I would say get a yellow card and miss the Wimbledon game.
Oh, if he misses the Wimbledon game, then you play him. But I don't think does it work?
I know it's cynical, but you know,
because Shah was sent off in the Southampton game, and so he missed Bournemouth, he missed Spurs, and he didn't play in the Forest game. So we've only played 4 games this season.
Yeah, I'll play him.
The Carabao Cup does count.
That was a send off for violent conduct.
You got a 3-match ban.
The yellow accumulation, you only get 1.
Oh yeah, I know. Game. He only gets 1. I'm just saying that the Carabao Cup game counted towards his ban, or he wouldn't have been able to play today.
No, it didn't. That counted as one of his banned games.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what we were saying.
So
what I'm saying,
gets booked against Fulham.
Yeah, but would you play him? Why would you play him?
Exactly. He misses Wimbledon, so he's available for Man City.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
so you want to do a tactical yellow?
A tactical yellow card, yeah,
on purpose.
Terrible, isn't it?
Go on then.
I wouldn't even play him against Fulham because he was man of the match the first game, and then he's just downhill.
Yeah, he's gone downhill, hasn't he?
Downhill. And late tackles, just complaining to the and whacking into other players and stuff. He's just turning into a twat. So,
by the way, he still did make some very good.
He's done some tackles, yeah. Bruno as well.
Tackles today. Crucial.
But it's a silly yellow card he's getting. He's going to cost the team. But anyway, if he can miss Wimbledon, happy days. Beside of that, we are. I'm trying to think now. Out of the 20 teams, who are the luckiest team? Who's the luckiest team? It's between us and Man U. When you play other shit and you no, Arsenal at least attacking and stuff. And Arsenal finishing games with like 70% ball possession and 15 shots on target and stuff.
Well, not today they weren't.
No, not today. But we've been lucky in 4 and a cup game.
Yeah. I mean, I must admit, Tottenham had enough of the game yesterday.
Have a lucky manager than
exactly.
Better to have a lucky manager than a good one.
Give me lucky generals.
I think
Chris
one
is
of
asking.
the good things is that we're not firing on all cylinders yet.
And we're still picking up points.
And we're winning. So
that's what I said.
Hopefully, I mean, you can't really.
Your luck will turn, though, Roland.
Until we played 10 games or round about 6 to 10 games, then you get a better feel, and you should be clicking then. We've only played 4 games.
Before I come to Steve, there was a good one that I highlighted that AJ had put in. This one, I think this is I just wanted to see how you guys feel about this. Since Bunce has come in, it's also the lads look like they're blowing out their backsides. Now,
Indeed, they do.
Is this some type of tactic from Bunce to try and keep more players fit throughout the season? by not pushing them too hard too soon at the start of the season? And is that the reasons why we are looking really heavy legs? I mean, today, as we witnessed, and again, this is what I said: you can't always go out there with Eddie Howe saying put your big 11 on. We lost Bruno to cramp. We only lost Lewis Hall, so we were down to 10 players really towards the end of the game. A lot of the lads that played international, I'm surprised, if I'm honest with you, it was nice to see Anthony Gordon last the full 98 minutes. If I'm honest, because that just gives him that little bit more longevity in games. But for me, there's a potential that this could backfire. If it's taken us 6 games to get up to speed, it could have been 6 different results. And I'm not going to say losses, but it could have been 6 different results. And the people that are under pressure then is obviously the manager or the management team or the head coach's team. Because I know I'm going to get shouted at if I say manager. So you have to look at the bigger picture, don't you? If we've gone into this season with a different pre-season strategy to try and keep us going longer into the season injury-free, then you've got to give reasons behind it. I do think the international break has caused some issues, but I don't think it's caused all of them. Steve, give us your views, buddy.
I thought, like you said, the first 20 minutes or so, we pretty much did quite well. I thought at one point we were going to score, but it just didn't come. Went a goal behind. As you said, Longstaff was absolutely terrible across that ball that came across the box, and there wasn't hardly any power on it as well. It just came flying across, and not one of our players could get a foot to it, and it went past one of their players and past the keeper, past one of ours, and behind Shah. And the guy scored. There was nothing he could do about it. Shah just could not stretch enough. I think then, the substitutes was great. Bringing the 3 substitutes on, I think it was the best thing they could do, because Joe Linton, he just didn't seem in the game. He didn't seem right at all. He lost the ball a couple of times, could have cost us. I'm surprised we actually started with Bruno, because him playing out in Brazil, and he had a nightmare against Paraguay, cost the goal. I thought him flying back from Brazil, I thought maybe he would have been on the bench to start off. I would have, as you said with Tonali, I would have started with Tonali. I would have actually maybe put Willock on instead of Guimaraes to start, maybe. But maybe used Bruno as a sub. I like Murphy. I do think he plays well on the right. Yes, maybe I would have started, as I said, maybe Barnes maybe could have come on, but I think it was good to bring Barnes on afterwards then. And I'd say because we had to take Isak off, we played Gordon through the centre. So I can see in a way why he was doing what he was doing. And then getting the goal back, absolutely sharp. Absolutely. He can crack balls from outside the box. I just love watching him when he scores. It's just a pity I didn't know he was going to be back today, because I put him back in my fantasy team. Because I took him out because he was injured, because he was banned. But didn't matter. I still got top score. So
there you go.
Not too bad.
There you go, happy days.
I'm goosed.
I must admit, I think Steve's absolutely mullered me this week on our head-to-head. Absolutely, he's took my pants down totally and smacked me.
I'll tell you how much I'm interested in it. I've never even looked at it.
I don't know how they work the points out.
Because you bottom.
You know what I mean? I don't know how they work it out.
Basically,
I had Holland yesterday with 2 goals. That must get something.
What's that?
Wait, let me have a look.
I said I've picked my 11 for the season, and I'll not look at them or change them again. That's it.
Oh,
but I had Holland up top.
Win.
That was
Not
good.
doing too good.
You got 81 points, man.
Yeah.
He did really well.
That's
I couldn't believe it. I think
Oh,
one person was
Dom was
close
top
from
of the
70
league.
odds. It's like 70 something. And I was like, Gordon, please do not score. Gordon, please not score, because he would have taken over me if he'd have scored, one of the players. Binks, or not Binks, is it?
But don't keep that for who for the twat.
Yeah.
We're in the match reaction.
But yeah,
Well, speaking
I
of
thought-
the twat, DXK
Yeah.
kicked my ass as well.
But Shah, I think Shah was absolutely fantastic. He got that goal, just what we needed. And then for Barnes to come, and I know he can strike balls really well, but he placed that ball so well in that corner. It was just absolute class. And that last 10 minutes then, it was like, right, you got to keep them out of the way. They came back, they tried to batter us, they tried to get us. And a few times, they were screaming for they were screaming for a penalty once, and we were very lucky a couple of times, because I think a couple of times the way we put a couple of challenges in. Byrne, he was pushing on that player, but luckily enough, I think the referee must have thought, or the VAR, well, he must have been pushing backwards on him, and he pushed him down to the floor. And I really thought we were going to get a penalty against us there, but
I think basically, Steve, you've hit the nail on the head. We got lucky a couple of times.
Yeah, we did. And I think some players need to start using a bit more intelligence, because they made some stupid mistakes which could have cost us. But we got through the game. We got a 2-1 win. Sometimes they do say it doesn't matter how you play, doesn't matter how pretty it is, it's getting that 3 points. But we can't play against like that against Man City. We're going to have to put our best side out, and we are going to have to hit them quick, because if we don't, they're going to muller us.
I think that the other thing to say is that
time will tell.
Winning like losing becomes a habit, and it's a good habit to get into, especially at the beginning of the season.
But it's our best start since 95-96.
Yeah, well, I made a comment on the watch along in the chat. Why is it that we still can't win? This was obviously before we took the lead. Why is it that we can't win must-win games?
Yeah.
And today we have won a must-win game, and that is a big turning point, in my opinion.
That's it.
That it was the way the results went for us yesterday. We couldn't have asked for anything better.
Oh yeah. Liverpool losing.
And so when you 3 points today took us second, which is why I was livid when I saw the lineup, because I said we've got to go for it today. Must-win game. Let's go and win it.
Well, we got third anyway.
Bottom line, we've ended up winning it.
Yeah.
I think
thank God for that. But
the thing about it is that how long did it take us to win an away game last season? And our away form was awful.
I can't remember last season. I tried to erase from your mind.
And it was actually 11 games since we beat Wolves at away.
Go on there, Rowley.
13 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not losing first and then winning. And we games like this last season, we'd have lost. We'd have lost to Bournemouth. We'd have lost today. We've taken 4 points out of the possible 6 from those 2 games, which all bodes well. Especially away from home, it's not really that important how you play; it's that you get the result.
It's interesting, like I said, because everybody obviously looks at the game in different eyes, and it's to me there's always a tactical element. I think we started really well. I mean, let's just put the stats up on the screen, because I think this obviously gives us a little bit more of an understanding of where we were. So pretty even on shots, 12-14 in favour of the Toon. We had more on target by 1, a little bit more on possession. We had 460 passes to their 427. pass accuracy was 88% to their 83. They won us massively and handsomely on fouls, 17-6, 3 yellow cards apiece, and the rest is history. But 7 corners to 4 in the favour of us. So as you can see by that, the stats tell you that the game was pretty even, because both teams had possession in spells of the game, which doesn't always show you a true reflection on how the game was. And it's like I said, me, the tactical side of it
because we actually controlled possession for the first 20 minutes. But we've done that every game this season. We've started off really well.
Yeah, and that's what I said. It's
not necessarily for 20 minutes, but for 12, 15, 17, 20.
Yeah, it was the way we always seem to want to slow down, come on the 20-minute mark. Now, again, whether that's a tactical thing, I don't know. But it
take
seems
a break,
to me
stop the press.
Yeah, it's like they just step off the ball a bit, and it allows them to come more into the game. Now, what I found noticeable today was very much like bloody England when we were watching England. When any team that we faced with a low block, a low to mid block, we have no technical guile to get behind them. It doesn't seem as though we can work balls into little triangles and into channels to try and get the inside left and right positions to get that square ball across, which seems to be always our weak point. And if you look at like Ait-Nouri for them, then he's not a fullback. He'd always looked a little bit sus, in my opinion. And it looked from the outset that's what was the target. They were going to highlight him as our poor or their weakest link. The problem is on our right hand side, we're not very technically gifted to get in and around the back of them. All our flair was on the left hand side, and it looked like they were making headroads into that. But we always seemed, for me, they always seemed to be a point where, as I said to Chris when we were doing the live watch along, that it looks to me very much like they're trying to win the ball deep and get the progression of the ball to the forward line, to Cunha or anybody else, to try and counter attack what we did. And literally, as soon as I saw that, it was like, we've got to be on our guard here, and that's what I said. A simple mistake. It's all about percentages. And when we lost that, when Longstaff played that ball, that quick break come along, and then it was literally backs to the wall. I've just been reading.
2 seconds, Gary. Dom, I don't know how long you're staying on, mate. Is there anything that's been said that you want to comment on?
No. Actually, I agree with everything that's been said so far. Yeah, I do, because I was just looking up, because you're talking about because you guys are talking about the stats and how the stats the stats show it's pretty even. I'm a big fan of expected goal, the expected goal stats, because I think it shows proper movement, proper risk. Proper threat, right? And even on the expected goals, the XG is we are identical on XG. So we were down on the first half. The second half we fought back. So it's literally a game of 2 halves. But yeah. But I think at the end of at 98 minutes, I think we were quite evenly matched in numbers. But yeah.
Sorry, Gary, back to you.
Yeah. No. I mean, like I say, please, anybody, feel free to jump in, and if you've got something that you want to add to the discussion, feel free.
Yeah.
Go on, Steve.
One thing I did like today, which I haven't seen us do a lot, we got a lot more through balls. So basically, the players were running forward, the ball was coming through, and they were running onto the ball in the box. And I thought, if we can get that a bit better, we can start getting those balls again. I haven't seen Newcastle play that out for a while. If you're playing them through, playing the balls coming through, past the man, he's getting onto the ball, he's having a go. I think just Wolves' defence was just too good for us at some times, just taking the ball away from us a few times. But we did do it a few times where we could have scored, and it was just unlucky that we didn't. So I'd like to see more of that come in again. You know, I think we surprised Wolves doing that. I don't think they expected us to be doing it.
I agree to disagree to a degree. A degree, Steve.
Yeah.
The way I agree with what you say up until the final third. I thought when we got to the edge of their penalty area, we were lost for ideas.
Yeah.
And
But
I kept on screaming
at the going into the penalty area, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was a couple. There was a couple of times.
And there was a couple of good times, and a few times where ball came back, and it was just unlucky that we just didn't get the right contact, and we could have actually got more goals today from that if they'd have just come off the way we'd like to. You know, so if they can play that a bit more and catch these teams, then maybe we can get a few more goals out of it.
Yeah. I think what we've got to start doing and what we've got to start realising when we're on the up, we've got to capitalise. We had them literally pressed. They were 18 yards from their goal line, and there was a bank of 4 or 5 yellow shirts or gold shirts.
Two banks.
And then, you know, what I noticed from that is it was like going backwards or going sideways. And like I said, for me, it's all about retaining the ball. So I always used to say to anybody, play the way you're facing because it's simple. Don't try and make tricky passes. What we never seem to have is we seem to keep the width, but we had nobody running from deep to try and break these little areas up. We didn't seem to have the ideas of bringing some of their players out. Like with Isak, when he comes into a deep position, there didn't seem to be anybody willing to run behind him.
Yeah.
And the only person that seemed to be trying to do something was Gordon in the first 15 to 20 minutes. And I thought he was looking really sprightly. But once we broke down a little bit, it just seemed to be a little bit, oh, well, let's stand off now and get a breather, which then allowed, obviously, Wolves then to come on board and obviously get involved a little bit more. Chris is in the background.
With audio only.
Yeah. So for me, it is... Go on, Dom.
No, sorry. I apologize for interrupting. No, because since you're talking about the passing, I just want to make a comment which I noticed. I'm not sure if other people noticed it as well. One of the in the past 2 seasons, we had a pretty decent run in the past 2 seasons, and one of the key movements that we have done very, very frequently was cross field passes. Like for example, the right back, okay, or the right mid, smack in the center, will do a cross-field pass to the left wing, which is quite ahead. And because usually there'll be defenders will be expected a Trippier, Miggy exchange on the right, okay, and then they end up doing cross-field passes. So we used to do a lot of that. Sorry if I'm not saying it accurately, but this game I didn't see that in the first half. But when we reshuffled and we got the players in for the second half, they did it 3 or 4 times to great effect. They found open players on the left wing attacking, and there was brilliant long cross-field passes, which I've missed seeing for the past few games already. So yeah. I think we had some things worked for us for the past 2 seasons. I don't know what Eddie is thinking, but I think we need to mix it up a bit, because I really miss those passes. They were brilliant. Second half, late in the second half, from the mid in the second half, we started seeing those passes again, and I think it was great. And I think that was a large contributor to our attacking prowess in the second half.
Yeah, fair enough. For anybody that hasn't seen it, let's have a look at the goals. This is the first one from Fabian Schär. Just going to run it through.
Fabian Schär, who can hit them, he does hit them! Took a little touch on the way through, but it's...
What did you think of that one?
That was a gift from God.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming for a long while. And to be fair, during the game, I didn't even see the slight deflection from Dawson's head that obviously took it away from Johnson. So, like I said, it was one of them moments where in my head I was screaming shoot, because we again seemed to be running that line just in front of the 20-yard line, if you like. And you can see how deep these guys are. I mean, even by what you can see on the screen now, you know, you've got a bank of 4 here, literally on the 12-yard line.
9 or 10.
And then you've got another bank in front here. So it was virtually asking for anybody to take a shot, because once you start doing that, you're then saying to yourself, again, the law of averages, one's going to really test the keeper, and then you're just reacting to what the keeper gives you there. But I thought that was an amazing an amazing shot that really got us back into the game.
I think Murphy was unlucky with his, the keeper just got his fingertips to it.
Yeah, in the first half,
yeah, absolutely.
Well, when you look at Shear's goal from behind the goal, when they showed the shot from behind the goal,
yeah,
the keeper Johnson had that covered. He looked to have it covered all day long.
Yeah.
And then it took the deflection, and it was hit with such power that once that little slight deflection was taken, he had no chance.
No, that's right. I mean, it was as sweet as you could ever hit one, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
The one thing Shaw has got,
but it looked to be going straight down the goalie's throat. Yeah,
that's what I said. Potentially, I think it may have been.
It's a Shear's goal because it was on target, without a doubt.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And you can only do what you can do. But obviously, again, what as we've said on many occasions, the one lad for me that can just take a game from a non-entity and produce a bit of a worldie is the man himself, Harvey Barnes. And I just thought this, to be fair, was an absolute class finish. Here we go. And again, a bit disjointed this time, as you can see. Look, because the one player that I thought changed our game, and it wasn't Harvey Barnes, it was Willock. His progressive runs with the ball at his feet, compared to the likes of even Bruno. Bruno's good at it, but sometimes doesn't do it enough for me because of the tactical issue. Well, the tactical awareness of the people around him. Jace Evans, a totally different player. The only other player that can do things like this is potentially Tonali. And when we saw it against Forest, where we got Tonali and Willock on the pitch, they were both literally going up on like train tracks. And for the first few minutes, Forest hadn't got a clue. And again, this lad coming on changed the game, because if you have a look at their shape now, their back four has gone. They've got three across the box, and we're overloading now on the right-hand side. And that's what I said. It's because of the way he brings the ball forward in a progressive manner. But this, to me, what
goal of the season,
that? Oh, it's two 20-plus yarders, and they are worldies. I mean, that to me was like an arrow. You couldn't have got that any further into the corner. It was absolutely sweet as a nut. And when we were talking at the start of the game, and we were looking at the when we were looking at the team sheet, and we said it's so nice now to have a look at the bench and say we have got some stature on there. We have got some meat on the bone on the bench. And I think that's another thing that Eddie needs to look at, because obviously if we play all the 11, we understand. If you'd imagine bringing a scenario where you're taking Tonali off to put Longstaff on, is there a game changer in that? And that's what I said. Sometimes there's a point where I always look at it and say you have to have a little bit more in reserve to change the game, and Willock does that for you. Tonali had a little bit more. Again, a bit of an indifferent game, and I don't know whether that was frustration. He did intercept a couple of good balls, which I think was really good. But going forward, he seemed to be more on the defensive midfield than he was going forward. It was as like Willock had the free rein, and Tonali and Bruno then were more of the anchor men, just to block out any of those forward balls.
The double pivot.
They double pivot, as Wynn keeps on calling me. I've been called worse, I keep saying. I'm joking. So, yeah, I mean, and if anybody hasn't...
you worse.
You have, indeed. Many a time. So if anybody... there's a little bit out there. It was pretty... But two stunning strikes from Fabian Schär and Harvey Barnes wrapped up Newcastle's first 3 points at Molineux. in the Premier League since 2011-2012 season. 10 points from 12 to start the season, up to third, and all without putting together a full 90-minute performance is a wonderful start to the season. Newcastle started the game brightly and could have taken the lead after 7 minutes through Jacob Murphy. Isak intelligently dropped deep in to receive the ball in acres of space and quickly released Murphy, whose shot was turned over the bar by Sam Johnson. The dominance in possession continued without creating too much until Anthony Gordon burst into life after 22 minutes. Receiving the ball on the left, he waltzed around two Wolves defenders and curled his shot against the far post. That was the end of the highlights from the black and white's perspective. That chance woke Wolves up and they started to gain ascendancy in the midfield and grabbed control of the game after a strong start from our lads. Wolves deservedly took the lead after 35 minutes following a blistering counter-attack. Longstaff gave the ball away in the attacking third and Wolves quickly released Strand Larsen, who had the beating of Byrne for pace before squaring it to Lamina, who swept the ball home at the far post. Very poor goal to concede, and there were some worrying defensive decisions made which ultimately led to the goal. Midfielders losing their runners, Livramento losing track of Lamina, and Byrne not covering himself in glory against Strand Larsen. Rather than the goal spurring the tune on, it was Wolves who should have doubled the lead through Lamina, again as he found himself in acres of space through the middle. An attempted pass was poorly cleared by Byrne into Lamina's path, who scuffed his left foot wide of the target. By this point, the half-time whistle couldn't come quick enough, as Eddie Howe was frantically writing notes for his addressing of the team. The way the team faded in the last 20 minutes meant that the changes at half-time were inevitable and saw the introduction of Tonali, Barnes and Willock for Longstaff, Isak and Joe Linton. Big Joe was on a booking and Isak suffered a nose-eye injury, which the medics struggled to stop bleeding. Much like the first half, the team started well and had an early penalty shout turned down for handball, which again, knowing the new rules, any balls deflected from other parts of the body up onto the arm are not now given. The awkward Strand Larsen rattled the frame of Pope's goal in the 52nd minute from evading a Dan Byrne and forcing a sharp save down low from Pope in the 61st minute. The overworked Pope was called into action again after 67 minutes when a direct ball over the top caught Lewis Hall out of position yet again. Clearly, this is an area that opposition teams are looking to exploit. As good as Hall is in possession, he is still learning his craft of defence. Yet again, the introduction of Trippier coincided with a change of fortunes, a brief spell in sustained possession, culminating in an equaliser from Fabian Schär, whose 20-yard effort was deflected in off the head of Dawson. It was a great moment for Schär, who no doubt wanted to atone for his needless red card against Southampton.
Hey, you're wasted on here, Gary. You should be writing for the Telegraph.
5 minutes later, the Newcastle took the lead through a world-class strike from Harvey Barnes, picking the ball up on the left wing before cutting inside and curling a sublime strike past the outstretched Sam Johnson. Another super sub appearance from Barnes surely has him in contention of going to start going forward. So let's turn our attention then, guys, to ratings. Bit of a strange one. It was a very hard way to mark this, if I'm honest. I really did struggle at times on what marks to give because everybody had different views. Oh, I tell you what, Wid, before we go, you said you'd got this this interview, hadn't you? Thanks, Chris.
Yeah.
One. Hit
Hang
the
on.
white layout. My OCD is killing me.
Where are we?
We've done it. We've done it, guys. That's it. Done. It's right because I don't look at you the screen with the panel on when I'm doing it, so I'm on another screen in front of that. I haven't got the setup like you guys have, Chris. So it works a little bit differently for me. So apologies. You must just keep an eye and let me know if I'm on the wrong layout because Chris hates it. So yeah, before we go into that, because there was a couple of fan zone interviews. You've got one there, haven't you, Win? Or you said you've sent it in.
I'll try and do this now.
Is it going to knacker your thing up?
We'll find out. We'll find out.
I have got it here. If you want me to do it.
Oh, have you got it? Oh, yeah. If you've got it, you do me.
Okay, mate. So this is Mighty Win, the roving reporter, all the way in Madeira on his jollies, meeting up with an avid Toon fan. So let's have a quick look now before I put it up, just so I can see it on screen. You got that? Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah.
Okay.
No, there you go.
It's a bit low, so you're gonna have to really listen to this because all the background noise. So we'll just have a listen.
Action.
Hey,
Action. Hey, the mighty Win in Madeira. And who was found here? We found Terry King. All the way from Walker. Yeah, but not from Walker. No, where you from? He's another Geordie Yam, Gary.
I am. I'm on the borders of Shropshire and
Staffordshire. And we'll meet up in Madeira. Terry, what do you think of the match, son?
Well, we got out of jail. I think they're two fantastic goals. Out results, but not performance. And 10 points like that.
Yeah.
Brilliant. But I've got to tell you, I lost a very close friend and my business partner, a guy called Jimmy Devine, who is a Newcastle fan through and through, season ticket holder. It was a joy to watch it in his memory. Lost him on Friday. I hope his sister sees this. Fingers crossed. I will tell her them.
Obviously. Excellent. Where do you stand now on Eddie Howe?
I still love Eddie Howe. I think he's done a fantastic job. I'm not sure what's going on behind the scenes. He just speculate. So, you know, I think he's done a fantastic job. What's happening? I don't know.
Well, I said before the game that I was unhappy with the lineup, and if it went tits up from being full on behind Eddie, which I have been throughout, when I saw the lineup today on the earlier show, I was saying, if this goes tits up, I am firmly now on the dark side, and I want Eddie out.
Yeah.
And I said, if he gets a result, then you've got to give him all the plaudits and say he's done what was required.
I agree, and I think I would agree with that. The lineup wasn't the lineup I was expecting. I thought that we'd have Finale in there, but he made the changes. The changes were slow in having any impact, but we got the result.
And so say all of us. Good.
Good. I love it. Love it. The roving reporter there. We've got another one as well. But before I go into that, I totally forgot to give us to give the lads that have been starred a shout. So let's go into the
let's go through some comments.
Because obviously there's quite a few, and obviously we don't want to go any
further. Well done, everybody, for watching. We've still got over 200 live now, so thank you very much.
Yeah, indeed. Thanks ever so much, guys, for watching. But again,
at
this point, hit the likes and subscribe if you're new to the channel. It just helps us further. AG, what got me a bit peed off today was Eels and Mitchell sitting with their disgruntled look on their faces, with part of the problem, in my opinion. Well, like I said, there's no smoke without fire, and it certainly doesn't look as though they were enjoying the game as much as we were enjoying it.
Well, I think they were enjoying it when we were getting beat.
Well,
that's not good at all, is it?
No. David T says J7, Bruno, Gordon, Tonali all have another gear to go up. Botman, Wilson, Miley to come back. The future's bright. The future's black and white.
The future's tuned.
Yeah. Beer Viking, you also have to balance your bench. Have a way of changing the game. There you go. So,
that's one argument.
But again,
get all your meat on the grill is my argument.
Lat has put down, born in '88, the first time in my life we played shite, but keep getting the results. Well,
yeah. Well, you're not wrong there, by the way.
You're not right.
Well, she's she's half wrong because we have been playing shite for years. But this time we're getting results.
Yeah.
No, but
Exactly.
playing shite and getting results.
There's a total difference, wasn't it?
That's barely happened, yeah. A few times with Rafa and Bruce and stuff.
Yeah. Queenie says the table position does look lovely as it stands. Yeah, I agree with
Does
that.
it indeed, Queenie?
Top 3.
Question from Lat. Did anyone else want Asula to get a run out? Gordon,
Yeah,
right?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, we all said that, didn't we? Oh, me and Chris can't understand what's going on there because he's like I said, I know he's an unknown quantity, but like I say, Murphy was literally inexistent today.
Well,
and that's me.
He scored. He scored for Denmark in the 4-2 loss. He scored the first goal, and then Iceland just took him apart in the under 21s.
Yeah, he scored a cracking left foot shot across the goalie into the far corner. And like I said, he's an unknown quantity, but until you have a look at him, you don't know what he's going to do. And at the end of the day, it's very hard for the away manager to make any tactics against you because there's not a lot out there that you can look at to get a tactic against. So I think there was an element of the game, but especially the last maybe 5 minutes, bringing Murphy off and throwing Gordon on the right hand side just to see what would happen with his pace behind, because at that point obviously they were coming after us and trying to get that extra goal. G Linker, Wolves away is always a tricky game, so in my opinion this was a very impressive win. Black and white. Yep. Brian Quinn, mystified by the starting lineup, but Eddie did change it. Also, Murphy's bullshittery deluxe in the tunnel with the ball was off the highest level. Now, unfortunately, I didn't see that because
I haven't seen that. I don't know what he's on about.
No, I haven't seen it.
I will have to have a dig and try and dig that out for tomorrow.
Anybody know what he's on about there, guys?
No, it was a throw-in. It was a throw-in on the left.
Oh
yeah,
where he got where he went in the tunnel to get the ball.
Yeah, he went in the tunnel to get the ball.
That one. Right, got you. I thought you were just throwing the ball away.
Time wasting.
All right, got you. Okay, I got you. But that it's what I said. It takes everything, doesn't it? Lars has said that we have got mighty lucky, and contrary to last year, we are getting away with poor play. Hoping it all improves. Because we know they can do so much better. And that's
if you remember Arsenal last season began their season exactly the way we've started this season. Playing absolute garbage, but somehow getting results. And then when they did click, then they suddenly became a force. Yes, Ruben.
As I said, winning's a habit.
It is, Roy. Really.
We've just got to stop conceding silly goals. I think that's what I said. Going on the hunt for goals ourselves sometimes leaves us vulnerable on the counter. And I think that's something that Eddie needs to have a look at really closely now. AJ has put, Eddie must have a 4-leaf clover up his arse. Lucky as you have been. Yeah. So there's certainly... not many black cats walked across him this
as Napoleon said, give me lucky generals. He didn't do too badly, got the Waterloo.
What are you going to say? Yeah, eventually it stopped, didn't it? Jam Sasha,
he wasn't lucky. He was a master tactician.
Tactician, yeah. Eddie's the same, yeah?
No.
We are sort of flying with angels for the first 4 games. Yeah. Toon Talk, Connor has put down, do you guys think the players are happy playing Eddie's tactics this season? As it looks like they are not happy. No.
Maybe
I don't know whether, I mean, like I say, it's really hard to say. Body language does look a bit awry, but obviously that's an indifferent pre-season. It takes a while for you to gain momentum. And obviously when you're playing really well, confidence and everything else, it just brings everybody up a different notch, doesn't it? They've all admitted that they're not playing well. So, has that got anything to do with Eddie's tactics this season from trying to stop conceding goals and us going away from home and picking up the points? Anybody like to answer that?
Well, if that is if you're promoting that theory, that the objective of the exercise is to stop conceding goals, then straight away you would not have started both Livramento and Hall, which is what I couldn't understand.
It was that
again,
to stop them in their tactics. That's what I said at the start of the game. Win. If you look at them, they like to play wide. I mean, obviously they tried this new 4-4-1-1 tactic under Gary O'Neill. They like the ball down the channels, like as we all know. Aït-Nouri loves that winding run down the wings. Is it the fact that him playing both Hall and Tino today, very forward-thinking fullbacks, was to keep them pinned back in their half? That's all. That's how I look at it. It was probably a tactic that Eddie tried, but unfortunately failed miserably when we lost the ball and they were counter-attacking. And I think that's, like I said, sometimes it works for you, these gambles, and sometimes it works totally against you. So I think it was a gamble to play too. We've said all along, if you're going to play Hall, then you need somebody else like Trippier to play in that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or like I say, if you're going to play Tino, then you go and play Kelly on the other side, just to give you that balance. So yeah, I don't know whether it has definitely changed. Whatever's happened this season, and I'm not going to blame behind the scenes, but I do think a lot of it will be James Bunce probably holding Eddie's tactics in training.
That was the other thing I could not understand about the lineup. Is if you like gone defensively by starting Longstaff instead of Tonali, because he wants, I don't know where he says it, but a workhorse in midfield. And yet, he starts Tino and Hall.
Yeah, like I said, it's a gamble. It's a gamble. I believe he tried to push them back rather than them dominate the width.
I think part of it is. I think part of it is that Wolves have been shipping goals, so you probably felt they could play with more attacking fullbacks. We got away with it, but maybe when we played Bournemouth, he started with Kelly because was it Semenyo was down there right hand side. And he's really
I thought he started Kelly. I thought he started Tino against Southampton because he was familiar with the Southampton players, and he played Kelly against Bournemouth because Kelly was familiar with the Bournemouth players. That was my take on that.
I took it that if he wants to play a slightly more defensive game, he'll start with Kelly because Lewis Hall's great going forward, but he's still got a lot of work to do defensively. Whereas Kelly's good defensively, but
not very good going forward.
Well, you say that
he's got an assist.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is he's not a flowing attacking fullback, is he? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's more of a he picks and chooses his moments, and that's what I said. Sometimes you have to think football rather than just play football. It's great to see, and when I'm talking about the way Eddie's adjusted his tactics, if you look at it now. We don't press as much anymore like we used to. We don't push up onto the halfway line and into the opposition half like we used to, man for man, when everybody's like closing down the keeper. And again, that's a very dangerous tactic if you're going to go man for man at the back, especially if you've got no pace in it. So it's something that obviously Eddie's tried to change.
We did do some really good pressing.
But a lot of it was individually, wasn't it? It wasn't a team press. If you look, you've got Anthony Gordon go from There was some good team pressing. As well. What I'm saying is it wasn't as full on as it used to be last season.
Oh yeah,
where we were all upbeat. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. It seems to be a tactical press now, where we look to mark the channels or the passing routes, if you like, and we try and break down the chance of them breaking quickly, and unfortunately it didn't happen.
Gary, can I just come in here because you were talking earlier on at the start of the show about Gary Shaw passing away?
Yeah, I've just highlighted it, mate. There, yeah, I've just seen it.
A few, and apparently the son, who it was that broke the news, have now retracted it. They've taken that,
They've removed the article.
moved it from that page.
Which is what I've just seen on X. So apologies. Apparently he's still in hospital quite poorly. So apologies if I've overstepped the mark. I just wanted to show my appreciation.
No, I'm not. By the way, I'm not blaming
I'm just
you
going
at
out
all.
because there's going to be some people out there that take a little bit.
But you know, if by a million to one chance any of these thinking or watching,
I saw it on X, and like I say, at the end of the day, I just wanted to pay my condolences, but obviously that's not true. So again, apologies. Let's go back into where we were before. Brant has said Trips and Shaw, Botman to return, Kelly Hall, Livramento in reserves. There's thereabouts. Is that doubts? Kraft, Lascelles, a pulse, spelling. What?
Pause for me. Spelling. Listen, we all smell.
Absolutely. I looked at that 3 times and I couldn't work out that last bit. Keith Lee noticed today the defence was not as pressured as previous due to Shaw's ability to pass long and forward. Big difference to Kraft. There is, but there's, like I said, the gamble was. Look at him with his sense, his man sense.
Kraft has done very well when he came in.
He did, but you do lose that progression with the ball, don't you? He's very good at what he does, but when you've got both,
but he ain't no Fabian and Shea.
No, he hasn't got that delivery, and that's the difference. Steve NUFC has put down, we are just very inconsistent at the moment. It's so frustrating seeing us play well for a small period, inviting pressure, making mistakes, then suddenly remembering we can play football. I mean, that's what I said. We played well for 20 minutes and then we dropped off a little bit. And that was strange to watch. Jamstasher played well enough in the first half. Go on, Roland.
You say we dropped off, but I think by saying that, it's a bit of disservice to Wolves because they stepped up. I don't think it's necessarily us stepping back. If the other side take control, it could be that they've just adjusted to our tactics and actually had managed to wrestle control rather than this game in particular, rather than us setting back.
I agree with you, but like I say, the first, I think it was about 22 minutes. The possession was phenomenal. We had all the ball. They had very little of the ball. They were sitting really deep, and then all of a sudden, the pressure just seemed to ease where we were given the ball and allowed them then to pick the ball up and start to distribute. Because I think we were having a breather. If I'm honest, I think we were just having a breather, and we just get in 5 minutes where we start playing chase the ball, which unfortunately tires you out more than having the ball. So to me, it didn't make any sense. I mean, I agree with you. You're not going to dominate any side for the full 90. Well, you very rarely do, especially at this level. But I did find for at least 5 to 10 minutes, we stepped back a little bit and allowed them to obviously start moving the ball a lot more than I would have liked without the team press. And that's what I said. If you're going to do that, then you've still got to press them to close the space, and we didn't do it enough for me today.
Well, not until a certain Fabian Shea showed up on stage. He'll beat them on the ground, he'll beat them in the air. Oh, Fabian Shea, beat them on the ground, he'll score from anywhere. Oh, Fabian Shea. He'll beat them on the ground, he'll beat them in the air. What's another?
I'm going to say, come on, lad, we're only here for a short term, and you've got to catch the plane tomorrow. Anyway, how many we got left? We've still got a few to go through. So slow down, win. We are a relegation team 2 years ago. Transition takes time. Eddie's slow, took time, finds best team, but he's on track.
Okay. Three years ago.
I have been Eddie's biggest backer and still am.
Yeah.
You mean second biggest backer?
Are you in front of me on that one, Rully? Are you?
Yeah.
Big time.
So hang on.
wasn't-
No, yeah, let's right. So, Rolly, were you happy with that team selection you picked today?
I wasn't as a surprise rather than
A simple no would do.
I thought it was good enough to win the game.
Were you happy with that team selection today?
It's one of those things that
Come on,
I
just say
No. Were you happy?
I wouldn't have picked that
You,
side.
no, and neither would 1,000 flies. Each shite, 1,000 flies can't be wrong.
Yeah, but so at the end of
Because-
the day, we won the game, which is the
And
be
that's
all end.
exactly right. So, so as I so succinctly put twice, the bottom line is I didn't agree with the selection at all. I thought it was terrible. But I said at the end of the day, if we get 3 points, then I'm happy to concede that Eddie knows more than this daft bugger. And that's what's happened. So you've got to give him the flowers.
Yeah.
And I am so pleased that I'm having to do that. I'm so pleased I'm having to eat humble pie, etc., etc., etc. But he has to learn sooner or later. Please, he's got to learn. Now you can argue the fact that what he did was so that he had, some good depth on the bench. But I've always been of the opinion, to coin Chris's phrase, you put all your meat on the grill, and that's because I think if we'd started with Denali and Barnes today, and I personally would have had Trips instead of Livramento or Kelly for Hall, one or the other, just to give us a little bit defensive solidity. So that would have been mine, but nonetheless, doesn't matter, because the bottom line is he's done the way that he's done it, and he's got 3 points away from home in the Premiership. Not an easy thing to do at all against any Premiership team.
And I think the other
So
thing
you have to give him the flowers.
I think the other thing you've got to bear in mind is we don't know what the game plan was and how they've trained for this match.
Well, that's what
might be
Eddie
the
said.
way.
It's difficult, wasn't it? He had 7 players when he started the training. He went up to 9, and then he had a few more back from international duty. So I can imagine it must be a headache for any manager to go out there and try and set them. And you haven't got all your players to use and to teach how you want
Gary,
the game.
your mic's gone funny again.
Oh, sorry, apologies. I don't know what's happening with my mic today. It's not from my end. It's obviously the computer's just having a bit of an issue. Let's have another crack on with a. Oh, I tell you what. Let's do another interview because I've got another.
I'm going to say, has Amrit got some roving reporter there?
He has indeed. I'm just trying to get him online so we can have a look at this boy. This is Amrit, who's been out there with his mates watching the game.
In the
and
Black Bull, no doubt, in Benton.
No, he's in somebody's conservatory, mate. This is so. I'm
Oh,
not
right.
sure.
Somebody's.
He must have. It's probably his.
It's his family.
It is. That's his conservatory.
Oh, well, there you go. He's got some family members he's interviewed. So here we go.
I'm sitting here with 2 avid Newcastle United fans here. One is family and the other one is family as well. But yes, nice to see you, Neil.
Hi.
Cash. Hi, everyone. So, guys, we've just watched that match and we've literally scraped a win. Like we went 1-0 down and we've managed to get 2 goals, managed to defend. What were your thoughts on today?
To be fair, Longstaff starting was a bit weird. I don't get that. The match started running a bit dry. We didn't seize any opportunities. It was difficult to watch, to be fair. Very difficult to watch.
So the whole Longstaff thing, he's starting Longstaff over Sandro Tonali, in my opinion, is an absolute mistake, considering he's just played 180 minutes for Italy and played superbly as well.
Yes.
What about your thoughts for today?
I think, yeah, we started very slow. Definitely think Tonali should have started. But yeah, very, very poor performance, I think, and scraped that win.
We scraped the win, and now we're what, third?
Third, right.
What do you think about this position, and do you think we can maintain it for the rest of the season?
I mean, being a man, it's difficult to maintain a position for a long time. But it's, but to be honest, I think where we are with our performance has been, we're pretty lucky, to be fair. I don't know which gods are on our side, but someone's definitely protecting us. And the 4 games have been really hard and difficult to watch. Not what we expect from Newcastle, but I guess we can only go onwards and upwards. Certain aspects of Eddie's choices, you've got to ask the questions. But yeah, I mean, Isaac coming off with a bloody nose. I mean, Alan Shearer wrapped his head in bandages and, still went through and fought the game for us.
I remember that well.
You don't know what's going on behind the scenes or the decision behind it. But yeah, let's look forward to the rest of them. But it's been a difficult watch. Very difficult watch.
Very difficult indeed. Any further comments on today?
No, nothing at all. I think we just got to keep going and hopefully keep scraping these wins. But yeah.
So we've had the best we've had the best start in 24 years. It's the best start to the Premier League in 24 years. But we've played nowhere near our potential, have we?
No, definitely not, to be fair. And it's a bit weird because we've got pretty much full squad. Obviously, besides the accident-prone Callum Wilson, who pulled his hamstring getting out of bed or whatever he does every day. But, we're a pretty strong squad in comparison to what we had last season. Yeah. We don't look any better than we did last season. We look worse, if anything.
So it's weird. The results are going for us, but we've not quite hit the full stride, have we? I mean, I predicted 4-1 today. What did you put down as a prediction for the match?
3-0 to be fair.
3-0.
What
about you?
3-0 as well.
3-0 as well. So what did you think overall? We should have started with Tonali. Tonali being on the pitch from the start. 3-0's got a script on it, hasn't it?
Absolutely. Well, even Tonali's game looks different, and Isaac is constantly looking frustrated because he's constantly going and trying to feed himself. But if he's trying to feed himself, he's not in the box and the right opportunities to bury those goals, and it's got to be frustrating for him as a striker. But the difference is, Harvey Barnes stuff like that might be the difference of pinging the ball in. Or Tonali, even Tonali's one-touch Italian football. He's proven himself how good he is. That might make a massive difference to Isaac's game and potentially finishing. He was up there with the top goal scorers last season without that support. So let's see what he does with this support.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with what you're saying there. What about Bruno? Just let's talk about Bruno for a little bit. I mean, he's your favourite player by a long way, isn't he?
He is, definitely. But
what's happened to him this season?
I think the captaincy's made him calm down, and he's trying to lead by example. It's messed his game up.
Okay. Yeah,
a little bit.
Sorry, he's just going to have to. Cash is leaving for this for now. But like I say, Bruno.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened. He's definitely not the same. Like I said, captaincy possibly. I don't know if now he's just been told you need to lead by example and put a calm head on, but it's definitely changing. But I think the whole aspect of everybody, to be fair, maybe it's the shite going on above with, Amanda and everything, and now all these other people coming in like that. Was it Carl? I don't even know who the hell came in as the head of fitness or whatever it is.
Yeah.
We've had 2 players go off today with cramp.
Yeah.
What's he doing? Is he sitting in the back playing with these? I just don't get what he's doing. How can we have 2 players going off with cramp and you've got now people head of fitness or whatever their job titles are? It just seems like
so the 2 players that went off with Bruno and Lewis Hall.
Yeah.
And Lewis Hall has been active in the.
I get that, but you've got someone there who's obviously doing strength and conditioning or whatever he's doing with them. They shouldn't be going off with cramp. And, okay, fair enough. They have had some activities with the international break, but I don't know. It's all weird with the structure above. Seems like it's messed with people, and maybe they're not working their full potential because of the uncertainty.
Get that, yeah. And finally, just on a different note, that save by Nick Pope at the last minute.
Absolutely fantastic. I'm not the best praiser of Nick Pope. Shot stopper, absolutely. Feet, maybe not the best. Some of his risky running out, taking the ball, yes, but the shot was fun, and the shot was fantastic, and then the shot was perfect as well. So kept winning the game.
So in conclusion, I would say we haven't played the best, but we've had 4 great results.
Lucky results.
Okay, lucky. Yeah, great though. At the end of the day, and if we start steaming ahead like we have done in the past, Premier League, here we go.
We're third. So let's see.
Excellent.
So there you go. I mean, he made some good points. To be fair, some really good points. To
I think basically he said everything that we've been saying, hasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, we hadn't really talked about Nick Pope's save, Cunha's shot, when he obviously put his laces through it, and obviously Nick Pope dived full length. It was a cracking save towards the end of the game. As he kept us in the points. So, do you think Bruno's suffering from the captaincy, as been stated there? Anybody? Think
I don't think he is particularly.
I don't think so.
I just think he's going through a quiet patch.
Even with Brazil, which has got nothing to do with the captaincy here, he's gone quiet.
What do you think, Dom, as far as Bruno?
Oh, I actually have an interesting theory. I was talking about it earlier because I think Bruno is playing a more central holding role. I think when he first started, he was close to DM. At one point, he was comfortable in more attacking midfield, but ever since he took the captaincy, I feel he's playing a more central role. So everyone thinks he's not doing anything, but he's actually he's under the radar. He's pulling in, he's drawing fouls, he's distributing balls. He doesn't have to be spectacular, but I think he's a midfield engine. I think that's what he's doing lately. That's why we don't see any fancy stuff from him. Like and today he's got a decent shot on target, a brilliant shot from outside the box. So I don't think Bruno is on a decline in any way. I think it's a different role. I think he's doing another crucial but different role for us. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Let's have a look at their goal and see. I mean, unfortunately, obviously this is a little bit blurry, guys. So apologies for the quality of it, because obviously I have to be careful where we get the information from. So, like I say, you can still see what's going on. But let's just run this forward. So you've got Longstaff picking the ball, and obviously you've got Isaac right in front of him, and it's like I say, you can see here the pass could have been out to Murphy, which is out to the right of him here, but he tries that percentage ball that gets you. When you look at that, you've got obviously the mistake from the outset, which is Longstaff, and then you get the muscling out by Larson on Byrne, and then you get two. I suppose it was a nutmeg on Byrne when obviously Larson crossed the ball. Then you had the step over. Shaw's momentum then obviously in between. I can't remember whether it was Cunha and Lamina, who his momentum then takes him away from the ball, which leaves Lamina with a totally empty net. So there's a lot to digest in that breakaway goal. And again, it's where you've egged the pudding to a degree with your attacking fullbacks, because they've pushed up, which means then you've got Byrne that's out of position going into left back. You've then got, if you have a look, you've got poor old Bruno, who's obviously gone a little bit towards the forward line of the centre circle, and he's then obviously got a turn. Now we all know Bruno has only got one pace to get back, but he does try and obviously bring himself in line with the ball, but unfortunately the step over.
But by the way, can I just say here, Gary, when Longstaff loses that ball and the player runs past him, he can turn then and track that player. And he doesn't. That player then goes on with a clear run, and Longstaff goes out to the right to mark a player who's already getting marked, and leaves the player that's just beat him to continue his run through instead of tracking him, where and everybody knows running without the ball, you can run faster than somebody who's running with the ball. And Longstaff was in a position then to have been able to track him back and do something, anything, as opposed to just running away from him to the right where he does absolutely nothing. If you watch it again, does absolutely nothing. And then they come inside to where he should have been if he'd been tracking the player. And he ain't there. I was going, when that happened, I was going, when we saw the replay this afternoon, I was going berserk. I said, what's he doing, man? Why is he not running with a player who's just gone past him?
But that's the point with him, Longstaff. He's been doing it on and on and on all the time. He loses the ball. He doesn't defensively midfield. He just lets the player. He just doesn't try to get the ball back.
Yeah.
Enough. He's not. That's what I'm saying. He's not good enough for Newcastle. I think after this season he should be gone. He isn't good enough.
It's a polite way of saying.
Well, Roy will probably say you're wrong here, by the way, but.
Well, he should never start again. So keep playing cup games and come on at the end
straight away.
Yeah, I think there was a number of issues with that game, with that goal. Literally, I mean, as you say, there's a number of
you mentioned several things there, Gary. But the whole point is, those things wouldn't necessarily come into the equation even if he did his job and just cracked back the guy that's just gone past him.
No, I understand that, matey. But like I say, when you're progressing the ball up front, the team changes, the team's dynamics change.
Yeah, I agree with everything you've said in that respect. But if Sean doesn't just run away from him and leave him to continue his unabated run forward, he doesn't then have the opportunity to just pick his pass to the wing.
Yeah. I think you've got to look at from my point of view that Sean Longstaff has never been a tracker. The only time I've actually ever seen him put a little bit of effort in was against Diaz, when obviously he got sharp.
Yeah, that was. That was magic.
He had a little bit of light against him, wasn't he? And that got the crowd going because, again, that just proves that he can do it. But you're absolutely right. He does seem to. But again, you see, it's like I said, the ball is still in the defensive third of Wolves, and yes, he could track back. But it's when the ball gets moved forward, that's when you start seeing a little bit of disarray in my eyes. Sorry, Roy, what were you saying?
I would agree with that, because once you start moving it forward, that's when the trouble starts. The tracking back by everybody was poor. They weren't picking up the players in the box. So basically, when the ball came in, there's basically only Shah in a position to do anything, and he went to block the guy that dummied it and just had to pass it into an empty net. Where was Hall? Where was Tino? I mean, they're quicker than Sean, and they're defenders, so they should be getting back. I mean, with the pass, he wasn't the only one who tried a progressive pass that got cut out. It's just it happened to lead to a goal. He could have played it across, but what the ball was on, it's just got cut out.
Well, when you say the ball was on, Rowley, like I said, at this level, it's about percentages. And yes, the ball was on, but if you look at the way Isak was expecting the ball to feet, if Isak, again, you could say that Isak, if he'd moved to his right, would have allowed more of a passing angle. But because he was virtually square on, the chances of that ball being,
It's a case of whether on the head. You're seeing Longstaff in the tracker. What is he?
A tackler.
A tackler, a dribbler, dual winner, press resistor. What is Longstaff?
Yeah, but I'm not putting him in the
Passenger.
side. That's what I'm saying. I'm not putting him in the side at all. All you've got to go by is what Eddie Howe sees within that training 2 weeks that we've had. And the only excuse we can give him, and this is what I said, he certainly hasn't picked this side from the international performances. He's picked this side because he's worked with them for 2 weeks, and he thought by doing that gives him a better understanding of how to go and get a result against Wolves. Now, by hook or by crook, he's done it.
He's got it, absolutely. Yeah. Hands up.
But it doesn't mean that he's done it well. And all I'm trying to say is there's a number of things that could have gone better if we hadn't have played the percentage ball. Because by him playing that percentage ball, the rest of our team are slightly out of position. And that just weakens us going forward. Because against bigger teams, obviously we're going to get hurt. And that's something that he needs to sort out and sort out quick. The other one that I was going to bring up for you guys, which I thought was really good, was the save from Longstaff, because I think at the end of the day, it's giving him an injustice if we don't share what he. I mean, again, this boy gets criticised a lot of the time because of the way he plays with his feet, but you certainly can't fault the way the lad plays with his hands and his shot-stopping capabilities.
Shot stopping is par excellence.
So, yeah, here we go. So I hope you can.
Massively.
So again,
I'm saying got away with it. We didn't get away with it because Eddie plays Pope for his shot stopping, not for his footwork. His footwork is still atrocious. It was today, but as far as shot stopping, there's not many who are better.
No, I agree with you. I think, like I say, we have got one of, if not the best shot stopper in the league, pound for pound. Hold on. Els is saying, Gary, that's bull. Eddie Howe was played Longstaff several times with a shy performance. He has to understand pitch performance. Longstaff is not skilled enough on a match day. Like I say, Els, I'm not. Again, I haven't picked the side. Like I said, you have to try and make some type of conclusion of why Eddie has picked this side. And like I said, the only excuse you can say is one, that he wanted to give the lads a bit of a rest, the ones that are on international duty, because we saw the effects that this had on the likes of Bruno and Hall, when we were playing down at 10 men, when Hall just couldn't come off the field because we couldn't make any more subs. So, like I said, there's a number of excuses you can give him, but on performances, like I say, that he's just been very lucky to come away with the right result, because that's what it is. The performance just wasn't there, but the result was. So again, I'm not trying to excuse him. I'm just trying to give a rationale for the reasons why he was picked over Tonali.
Can I ask the panel a question here?
Yeah, go on.
Would you prefer us to be playing like we're playing now and racking up the wins, or playing great and getting beat?
What, like last season?
3 points.
That's a.
No, we were as bad last season. I think we're worse now than last season. But
we're getting the points.
Yeah, I'm happy with the points.
It's not great.
Obviously, we would prefer to have the points.
Yeah, and more alcohol. You can't watch that.
There's one last thing I want to say about Sean, and I do get the criticism, but I do think that in general, when we don't play well, he's the only one that gets really hammered when other people haven't been playing great. He tends to be the centre of, oh, we're shite, Sean did this, Sean did that, Sean did this, and they don't make allowances. Well, Murphy at times was giving the ball away, bad passes. He wasn't the only one that played badly, but he always seems to be the one that is rounded on. Last season he got so much crap, yet he had his best season in front of goal.
Yeah, I understand that.
I know where you come from, Rolly. Listen, I tried defending Sean. It's amazing how often players become better players when they're not in the team. And when Sean got injured last season, all of a sudden we're saying, God, we're missing Sean Longstaff. He's not the glue. He's not the glue in the midfield. And so I kind of had to. I ate my own words at the time, and I said, listen, what do I know about football? Nothing. As far as I'm concerned, I cannot say what he does, where he does it, or anything. But he's obviously doing something because we went through a really bad spell when he wasn't in the team. But then he came back, and it was still the same old, and then we weren't getting the results. And I just said, no, actually, you've been right all along. The kid is not the standard.
No, he's not.
So that's where I stand on.
I think the thing is, he's not the standard of where we want to be. But at the moment, he's one of these people.
I don't think he's even the standard of where we are, to be honest.
I mean,
it's a
he's
difficult
not the
one.
guy that's supposed to be starting every week, in my eyes. But
Correct.
The occasional start, I don't think is particularly bad. When he's playing well, he can add to the team. But he's not been great this season. But there again, you can say that against a lot of the players. So
that's what I said, and I mean, you were probably quite correct in what you said before about, is it the fact that the team aren't gelling well that all of a sudden we're highlighting Longstaff as the poor performer? But it's like I said, if you're not going to get a kick up the backside now, knowing full well that Tonali's on the bench and could take your place at any one point, which should G up any player, then I don't know what will. And that's what I'm saying. For me, there's got to be a little bit more to his game to make us go forward, because like I said before, and we said at the start of the game when we were doing the watch along, if you put Tonali on the bench and you've got if you put Tonali in the team and pull Longstaff into the bench, have you got a player that can change the game coming off the bench? Well, no, you haven't. And that's what I said.
Depends how you want to change the game. If he's the sort of the role that I would have him in is in a game where we're ahead and we want to protect the lead. You can bring him in for his energy and his running. But I think as a player, he is a finisher, one to bring on to save someone else's legs. In a mid-table Premier League team, which we're not, he'd start for most of the teams from the middle down. But for us, he shouldn't be starting in my eyes. But if he starts, you want him to do as well as possible.
That's what I'm saying. If he's not going to get motivated by the people that are coming in behind him now, I can't see what can motivate you. Because to me, he will lose his
motivation. Gary, can I just interrupt? We've got a private message there from Dom saying, I think it's best I leave shortly. So I think Dom needs to get away. And I've just replied, no probs done. I'm the same, because my battery's down to 5% now, and I'm getting the red light all the time. So I might drop off at any time. If I drop off,
mine's on 30.
My battery's down to 10%.
Yeah, okay, mate.
13.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go through the
rating.
scores. Yeah, the ratings. So, go on to Pope. What would you give Pope out of 10?
Despite his kicking, I would give him 9 because he kept, he got us 3 points.
Okay.
His actual performance was probably a 7 or an 8, but you've got to give him 9 for that one save. That's what he's there to do. But he did it.
Rowley?
I'm going with an 8. His kicking worries me, but he's there because he's a great shot stopper and will actually come out and sweep up, even if he just does slice it into touch. But when he throws the ball out, his distribution's really good. It's just when he uses his feet,
some of his kicking is really poor, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dom?
I'm with Win on this. I'll give him a 9. 8 normally because he was reliable. He did his job, but I think he worked together with the whole team to give us 3 points. So 9 for me.
Roy?
I'm with Rolly. I'll go with 8. But all the players, especially the two lads in front of him, know he's bad in kicking. So stop passing the ball back to him under pressure. And it's happened a few times now. It happened today as well in the first half. So I'll give him a great save. Man of the match for me.
Okay. Interesting. Steve?
Yeah, I'm going to say 8 as well. And I've seen it for a long time about his kicking. He just does not like kicking the ball at all. I think the only time he does any good kicks is if he's done a goal kick. But if he's under pressure, he can't kick for hell. You know.
Yeah.
So I think, but his hands, saving with his legs and his feet is absolutely fantastic. You know.
Yeah, he's a big frame, isn't he?
Yeah, but he saved the goal. Was it against Tottenham? He came off his knee literally. So it's. But yeah, I think going forward, I think he needs to really work on his kicking.
Cool. I've given him a 7. Some important saves before a real superb save in the stoppage time. Made sure we got the win. The only negative that I marked him down with was his distribution with his feet. Again, it was just more of a hoof. And even on some of the clearances, actually didn't clear the halfway line. Bounced 3/4 of the way inside our own half, which I find really strange from a Premier League goalkeeper. So only a 7 for me. Tino. Oh, win's gone. So Rowley, go on. Give us yours.
Tino, I think that's possibly the worst game he's had for us. It's giving the ball away. Wasn't tracking back when he was going forward. I was glad when he was subbed because they're having all sorts of joy down his side. I'm going to give him a 5.
Okay. Steve.
I agree, Rolly. I wouldn't have started with him. I would have started with Trippier because we had Lewis Hall on the left. So yeah, he just didn't look right today. He got pushed quite a few times, lost the ball. So yeah, I agree. I would give him a 5 as well.
Okay. Dom?
6 for me, Patino. He did his job, but you can see the difference when Trippier came on. When Trips came on, then we had some real presence, some real attacking presence. But last season, I thought Tino was a better attacker, but this season he's a bit passive. So I'll give him a 6. I think he did his job, but I think expected much more from him.
Roy?
I'll give him a 5. Not one of his best games. You know what's strange though? When Trippier starts, when Barnes comes on, when Tino comes on, he's a better player, and vice versa. When he starts, it's always the sub who comes on plays better than the one who starts.
Yeah,
I think the thing we've got to remember with Tino, he's still young, still learning.
Yeah, he is. But he's obviously been brought in for a job, hasn't he, in a role to do. So the one thing that I noticed today, though, was he tucked in a lot. Now, whether that was an Eddie Howe inside right tactic to try and change the channel a little bit from on the right-hand side to give a little bit of a different look. So I found that a little bit strange. So I just literally tucked in a lot in the first half. Doesn't offer too much in the attacking sense this game. Lost Lamina for their first goal. So 6 for me. Fabian Schär. I think we may have the mighty back. He's back on his phone. Here we go.
Back on my phone.
Yeah, back on your phone, matey. Listen,
yeah,
before we go,
we can see
that. Said no.
Yeah, exactly. Win, because obviously you just popped out. You've done Pope, haven't you? Did you give us a score on Pope? What do you think on Tino? Give us your score on Tino.
Tino 7. He was okay. Nothing special at all. But did a good job. 7.
Okay. We're going to move on to Fabian Schär. Rowley.
He it's a bit of a mixed bag because he wasn't bringing the ball out of defence as much as he normally did. But obviously that goal was sort of breathed life back into us. So and he did spray a few balls about. So I'm going to give him an 8, mainly because of the goal and how important it was in turning the game.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting. Steve?
Yeah, I thought he had an okay game. The goal was absolutely fantastic. He can hit balls like that all day long when he has a chance. I would give him an 8 as well. I think it was he had a pretty good game. I'll say it was a fantastic game, but I think the goal made a massive difference.
Okay. Win.
And for that very reason, I'm giving him a 9 because, overall it wasn't a 9 performance, but the effect the goal had on everything that happened subsequently was all down to him. And so for that reason, I'm going to give him a 9. And Dom, I know you want to get away, so give us share, and if you also give us the rest, and then you'll be able to get away, mate.
No big deal. I mean, share is an 8 for me. Perfect in any way. Sorry, I'm a bit slow at the moment in time. But
all right, you're probably knackered.
But maybe I'll skip it with apologies. I will respectfully go off now because my phone's about to turn off any second now.
Okay.
So thanks for coming on, Dom.
Thanks for coming on,
Dom. See you Wednesday, mate.
You're always welcome, my friend.
Catch you soon, guys. Thanks very much. Thanks for everything. Cheers.
Pleasure, mate. Take care. Roy, come to you then.
If it wasn't for the goal, I would have given him a 6, but because of the goal, I'll give him an 8, or you can say 7.9999999. Because Pope got the 8 and he's man of the match. Yes, I'll give him an 8.
I've gone with a 7. Looked assured on his return in the team, capped off with a 20-yard stunner for the equaliser, some important headers, and picked a few nice passes into midfield. This is going to be a strange one. Dan Burn, Rowler.
Dan Burn. Again, it's a difficult one because he did get caught out on the breakaway for the goal. But apart from that, I thought it was pretty solid.
Okay.
So I'm in a ring between a 6 and a 7. I think I'm just going to go for the 7.
Okay.
I thought it was pretty solid. Nothing spectacular, just pretty solid.
Yeah, he did make a couple of tackles. I mean, he was doing a job. Steve?
I'm going to say a 6 because I thought he could have cost us. He could have got a penalty again. We could have had a penalty if the referee had looked at it differently. Yes, it could have been 50-50 the way the play was, but I thought Burn made more of it, so it was very lucky we didn't have a penalty against us because of it. And as I said, some of our players have got to be a bit more intelligent with the way they're grappling with players.
Yeah. Win?
Yeah, this is very unusual for me. I'm giving him a 6. I thought he was, his normal solid self, but he made a few errors, and as Steve's just said, could really, really have cost us. So, yeah, 6 for me.
Okay. Roy?
Yeah, I'll give him a 6. He should have dealt better with the goal against us. Well, he should have at least pushed that lad away or something, but he just run next to him. And then the stupid manhandling in the box and stuff, especially towards the end.
Yeah.
And that was a bit like Dummett last season, kind of. Yeah, so 6.
Yeah, I've gone the same 6. Uncharacteristic for Burn. Several poor reads in defence. Defensive lapse had led to the goal. I found he found it difficult to handle Strand Larson. If you watch his movement, Dan Burn, like again, not the typical Dan Burn that we expect. And obviously, then you've got his header into the danger zone of the box, which then led to Cunha's volley that Pope saved. So, bit strange from Dan Burn, this one, not his best game.
Not his best game. Sums it up lovely.
Yeah.
What do we say, Hall, Rowley?
It's a difficult one. I think he got better when Joe Willett came on. And he did do. He does get caught out of position on the counter. But because they actually moved him into midfield at the end when they brought Lloyd Kelly on. So
Yeah, that's because of his. That was because of cramp, though. It wasn't a tactical thing. He was a non-entity at left back with his cramp.
Yeah. I'm going to give him a 6. We've still got a lot of work to do defensively, and I thought he got caught out too much. I mean, when you look at the goal, you had Dan Burn against the left winger. Well, I know Hall had bombed forward, but he's got to try and get back because that's his guy.
Yeah. Right, Steve.
Yeah, I agree. He wasn't perfect today. He made a couple of good runs. Didn't make a massive impact. So yeah, I'm looking at a 6 for him as well. I think maybe playing in the 2 England games, he played quite well, and I think maybe just was a little bit flat from that. I think maybe he just wasn't 100% fit by the look of it. So I think 6.
Win?
5 for me, I'm afraid. Again, the gaps that he was leaving behind him for Dan Burn having to fill in. Listen, he's not 20 yet. He's going to learn. But he's not the finished article yet. And today, for me, wasn't one of his better games. Having said that, he made a couple of tackles. He made a couple of good forward runs. So, yeah, just what he started with, 5. I start every player with a 5. And there was nothing really bad he did to get him below that. Nothing really good he did to get him above that. So I'll settle for a 5.
Roy?
Yeah, I'll give him 5 like Win as well. Left loads of spaces as well, and he was nowhere near any. Well, where was he for the first goal? The goal against us, I mean. And I thought his best part of the game was the last 15 minutes, and when he was injured, it looked like he was fighting for the cause, basically. Yeah, I think
he was digging deep.
Play him at home and play Kelly away. So play him for the home games and play Kelly in away games. That will fix it for everything.
That's interesting.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I've gone with 5. I think all your, you've all hit the nail on the head. Really, I've just put Wolves attacked the left back all game and reaped the rewards. All of their main chances came down the right. As always, good in possession, but still looks very susceptible defensively. Right, let's go into the midfield. Longstaff, interesting. Rowley.
I'm going to go with a 5. I know people are going to slate him, so I'll let them have their 2 pen if they do. But I thought first 20 minutes I thought he was okay. Then he sort of slipped away. Obviously, they took him off at half time. I thought he did make it. He had one ball that I thought was beautiful through to Murphy into the box. The pass, you say, well, he played a percentage pass. It's one of those ones that if it comes off, he's essentially potentially got an assist, but obviously the defender anticipated it, got the break and on the ball, and then they broke away and scored. I think after that he did fade. I don't know if it's a confidence thing or what, but as I said, I don't think he was awful, but I don't think he was great either. So I'm going to go with a 5.
Okay. Steve or Wynn's gone. I think his phone will jump in and out. So go with Steve.
Yeah, I think he was the start of us losing out for the ball to get for the goal to be scored against us. He let that ball go too easy, and it cost us. And as I said, he's just not defensive midfielding like he should be. You know, you lose the ball, you should be back up the other end, trying to help the defence out. And I'm giving, like I say, I'm going to give a 5 for today.
Roy?
Yeah, man. I'll give him a 4.
You've been kind, Roy.
I normally 5s and then I either go up or down. So start with 5. I started with 5, and he's done nothing really in the game except for causing that big mistake. So I'll give him -1 for that. So it's a 4. He's done nothing really. Well,
yeah.
We have one or two passes. Oh, and he passed one to the ref as well. Yeah, so yeah, just give him a 4.
Yeah, that's fair
Passing
enough.
one to the ref is the ref's getting it's getting in the way. The ref's not supposed to get in the way.
I mean, like you said,
I think it's ball to man, not man to ball. But I still have to blame Longstaff.
It's a hard one. Like I said, Rowley, like I said about the percentage ball, and he's got an assist. Now, if you look at where Isak was, he was being man marked. He got to play it up his back, and that's why I said if he's going to play that ball, then you expect Isak to move to his right to play the ball and then run into the channel behind, which is directly in front of him. And it could have been Isak that plays the ball through for Longstaff to get the shot off. But because he plays it, he makes that decision to go forward rather than to the right, where you've got an angled ball, which is more open and less chance of it being intercepted. It's just the whole idea of the game changes. But for me, like I've said from day one, he's a box-to-box midfielder that does his best work out of possession. But he's likely to lose his place now to Tonali.
Yeah, I think with regard to the ball to Isak, I think in his defence, even with Isak's positioning, if you get the ball to Isak on his feet, he can weave magic.
Yeah, he can. That's what I'm saying. But like I said,
it's probably what he's thinking. Oh, I get it to Isak, and he can do something. And that probably.
But when he's closely marked like that, that's what I said. This is why I keep saying. Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is, it's percentages, then, isn't it? You've got a lot of the team out of position, and that's what I said. Sometimes simplicity is the easiest way of playing the game, and sometimes I think he forces the game by playing these percentage balls that he doesn't need to play. And it just makes it look bad on him. And that's what I said. If that would have come off today, if he'd have played a different ball and he'd have gone on a 1-2, give and go, and he scored, we would have all been saying, oh, he's a 7. He's done really well. And that's what I said. It's the law of averages, isn't it? It's all about, but absolutely, it's all about percentages, mate. Making that choice at the right time. Is Wynn going to be able to come back in before I move on to the next one? Like I say, he does lose his signal a lot on he's back. Go on then, mate. Give us your Longstaff one. Win.
Are you asking me, are you?
Yeah, I am. Well, I was waiting for you. I could see you coming back in, and I'm like, I'll wait for you.
I'll give him 2 for the one decent through ball that he put through to Murphy. He's a liability. The bottom line is the kid is now a liability. Playing him is not doing him any good. His confidence is not improving. I was hoping that the pre-season when he got the 2 goals, I said, right, come on, Sean, kick on. The kid is clueless now as far as I'm concerned. When we have got much better players available to play now, he should not be anywhere near, and that's down to Eddie. He's just hoping and praying. He's hoping and praying that he's going to come good, and I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
I would love to see it happen.
I just can't see it.
I thought he was just anonymous, and when he wasn't anonymous, he was making mistakes.
Yeah.
But
let's go on to Bruno. Rowley, give us Bruno's your thoughts on Bruno's game.
I don't know if it is his travel from Brazil, but it's a very low-key performance by him. Never really got a grip of the game. Did some decent stuff defensively. Didn't get booked, which is always good. I'm going to give him a 6.
Fair enough. Steve?
He just didn't seem with it today. I think part of that's down to maybe, like I said, the Brazil game, 2 games he played. Maybe the confidence wasn't there, especially after giving the goal away against Paraguay. I thought, he was loving it when, the goal went in and everything but he just didn't seem right, actually, playing. And I think I'll give him a 6.
Okay. Win.
5 for me. I can't give him a 6. As I say, players start with a 5 when they go on the pitch, as far as I'm concerned. If they do anything bad, you detract from it. If they do anything good, you add to it. And he was by his standards, and okay, we're comparing him to his standard. But again, you've got to say, when you're playing a 3 in midfield, and one of those 3 is non-existent, you either have to have a blinder or you're going to look pants, which is what a lot of the time today he did. But he did some good recovery work. He didn't lose the ball as he has a tendency to do, doing these 360s. I don't know if I'm not sure I subscribe to this captaincy theory. I don't think that's really the case. But I loved what prevented him getting the 4 was his, and he's still got that enthusiasm, and so that keeps him on a 5 for me.
Okay, Roy. Is he there? Is he still there, or is he gone? Roy, can you?
Are you muted, Roy?
Can't hear you.
You're muted.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
I can see you. I just can't hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll give him a 5. He was anonymous in the first half, and so I would have given him a 4. And in the second half, I'll probably give him. He looked much better when Tonali joined in. So 6 for the second half. So it's overall 5. Not a good performance, and it's not the first game this season. It's been below par, let's say, on his standards. So hopefully next game.
Yeah, I'll give him a 6. Not as influential as he's usually is, but I think tactically he had a job to do to try and keep Cunha quiet, which took him out of the game. As you rightly say, he did change a little bit when we went a goal behind. Did start showing.
Hang on, Gary. You were giving Longstaff the flowers for keeping Cunha quiet. I was saying we had 2 players on.
No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't.
Or always saying that Bruno was having to cover for Longstaff to keep Cunha quiet.
When did I say Longstaff was on Cunha? I have never mentioned Longstaff on Cunha.
At the very start of the show, you did.
Longstaff
No, I
can't
didn't.
mark a palm tree.
I said Bruno.
You said that was Eddie's plan to put Sean on Cunha.
Well, if I said that, maybe I meant Bruno, or maybe you misheard me. But it was definitely Bruno.
Oh, right. Well, if I did, I beg your pardon.
That's all right. I'm going to say I've never mentioned Longstaff on. He never was anywhere near Cunha. So if he was man marketing, fucking hell, he did a really bad job.
Exactly.
And that's the way. That's how I looked at it tactically. I think he was doing a job in the first half to keep their main player or one of their main targets out of the game. But again, in the second half, he tried to show a little bit more for the ball. But again, still hasn't found his rhythm in the team yet. But that goes for a few of them. Joe Linton, Rowley.
Joe Linton, again, he wasn't. He started off okay, but as the ref was, as they say, letting the game play, he seemed to get angry. He's not great when he's angry. Obviously, he got the booking. So I'm just going to give him a 5.
Okay.
It started off okay and just lost it almost. Well, I think he almost got subbed for his own benefit.
Yeah. Steve?
Yeah, I think Rowley's hit the nail on the head. He just wasn't with it today. Lost the ball a few times easily. And it was the right thing to do to sub him at half time, take him off. And yeah, I'd give him a 5.
I give him a 4. Probably you could argue a 5 performance for his first 20 minutes. But then another senseless booking. And even then, not content with getting the booking, the way he remonstrated with the referee could quite easily have got him, we've got to learn, or he's got to learn, or we've got to teach him to curb that anger sort of thing. Yeah, he's second worst player on the pitch for me.
Yeah. Well, I agree. He didn't have a great game. Roy?
I'll give him a 4 as well. It's the same as Longstaff. He's done worse or bad things more than the good things today. And then that card as well, unnecessary again. And then whinging to the ref, and it's not a shit horsey anymore. It's just being a dick. So just try to play football. He hasn't played football, but he wasn't even playing football today. He was just running around and whacking people. So
barging people.
Yeah, we we want Joe Linton from the first game. We don't want Joe Linton for the last 3 games.
Yeah, I agree. I'll give it a 5. Frustrating afternoon, and got hooked. Looked more like it was like the Brazil WWE, because it looked like he wanted to be the big man against his counterparts regarding the Brazilian players. Picked up the yellow, never found any fluency despite starting well in a couple of opening exchanges. Couldn't keep up with the game. Got himself in some strange positions where he was neither attacking or defending. And there was a time where I noticed that the ball, we lost the retention of the ball again in the final third. When they pulled past us, he just looked up and he lifted his arms up. So there was no attempt of him running back at that point. But there was one point in the first half where he was the last man at one point. And and he did try his best to get back in. But like I say, it wasn't his best ever game of the season so far. Murphy, Rowley.
He was a bit of a hit and miss today. Did some good things and some not so good things. He was unlucky with his shots. A decent save by the keeper. Got into some dangerous positions, but his delivery was quite poor today for a change. So I'm just going to give him a 6 because I think he did enough to get him above the 5. But yeah. I was surprised he started, to be honest, because I was thinking it was going to be Gordon and Barnes.
Yeah. But again, you've got no game changers on the bench, have you? That's what I said. It's you've got to try and play cards.
The thing is, coming off the bench, Murphy can be quite effective.
It's like I said, you never know what Murphy's coming off the bench, is it? No, exactly.
But as the Mighty Win was saying, put your meat on the barbie.
Yeah, exactly. Steve, what was your thoughts on Murphy?
I thought he had an okay game. Not his best. Like you say, he's normally a lot more on the ball. He's a lot more with it. I think needs to improve on what he's done the last couple of games. But today he just didn't seem totally with it. And 6.
Okay, Win.
I think you're being generous. Rully, you said he was hit and miss. He was miss and miss for me.
Don't give anything for that shot we had in the first half.
Yeah, well, that's why he's going to get a 4. Because it would have been a 3. He was, for me, he was anonymous. I was the first half. I was constantly turning. I watched it with Chris, my son, and I'm constantly turning on saying, "What the hell is he doing?" In much the same way as I was saying about Longstaff, and indeed about Bruno. What is he doing? Apart from the shot, the shot was the one redeeming factor for me. But it doesn't start. It should be nowhere near that starting 11 for me.
Roy?
Unless you're a mastermind like Eddie is, of course, and you want to keep some of your best steaks in the fridge before you put them on a barbie.
You and your barbie. Roy, give us yours, mate.
Well, it's Chris, to be fair. It was Chris's expression, wasn't it?
Yeah, 5 for Murphy. Just he's becoming the king of friendly games. Because in pre-season, he kept scoring right, left, and centre, and in the proper ones, he's doing nothing. Well, he did the pass last week. But anonymous. He shouldn't start as well. It's him and Longstaff who should not start. We could have a debate about Tino or Hall, but him and Longstaff should not start. That's it. Impact's up. Yeah, bring him on when you need him and.
Yeah, I've given him a 4. Early chance to make it 1-0, but be denied by Johnson. Mainly anonymous and missed an absolute sitter for me with a chance to slip Gordon in the second half, where he decided to play a crossfield ball to Barnes. You had Gordon literally cleared through on goal with a simple ball and decided
by the way, the ball to Barnes was a good ball, but the option was give it to Gordon.
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying it wasn't a bad ball. It was just the fact that by the time the ball got to Barnes, the chance had gone.
Yeah. So, that was it. They were back and defending.
Yeah, it's about percentages, and that's what I said. Sometimes you have to think the game rather than play the game, and he just doesn't do it the same as Longstaff. Anthony Gordon, Rowley.
I thought I had his best game so far this season. I thought it was dangerous. And they knew it's dangerous because they're just taking his legs away all the time. And that run to the byline where he hit the post was just superb. I could give him an 8. I thought he was it's much improved. It's more like the Anthony Gordon that we were used to last season.
Yeah. Steve?
I thought he had a pretty good game. I think Wolves, the way they played today, they're very defensive, and every time Gordon had it, and I think the some runs he made were absolutely fantastic. But he could have got more out of the game, but I'll give him a 7.
Okay. Wade?
8 for me. Yeah, easily one of our best players, and by far his best game of the season so far. Really unlucky with that curler. So yeah, 8 for me.
Roy?
Yeah, I'll give him an 8. Probably would have given him a 9 if he wasn't involved in any of the 2 goals, but he wasn't. Unlucky with that post ball. He's getting better. I think sometimes he just needs to cross the ball instead of trying to dribble when
exactly.
some of the players are waiting.
Yeah, he tries to do the spectacular, doesn't he?
Yeah. And he's
I mean, even the shot, which I'm giving him a bit kudos for. He had both Isaac and Murphy waiting in the middle for a square ball.
Yeah.
But I will never criticise anybody for having a shot.
No. Did you want to finish, Roy, or are you happy with that?
Yeah, just say 8, yeah.
I've got him as a 7. Looked more rejuvenated after his exploits with England. Vintage run down the left, unlucky to hit the post. Played up top in the second half, and even though he pressed well, he saw less of the ball. But again, that's a team issue that we need to fix because Isaac has the same problem. But for me, one of their Wolves' better players, which was Semedo, he seemed to have the better of. And Semedo had several warnings and could quite easily have seen red if Anthony Gordon stayed.
Sorry, I forgot to mention that as well, by the way. He got no protection at all from Cavani. None.
No, I mean, as much as I thought the referee did well to keep the game flowing, I think there was certain plays where he could have potentially got the yellow card out a bit sooner than he did, to especially the likes of Semedo, who seemed to just want us to kick Anthony Gordon to try and slow him down potentially. Moving on to Isaac up top, Rowley.
He seemed to get isolated. So he had a couple of good runs, but didn't really affect the game that much. And obviously he had the nosebleed that they couldn't stop bleeding. So
I reckon it's an eye injury now as well, don't they?
Yeah.
But he said he had blurred vision, and they couldn't understand why. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah. I think I'm going to give it a 5. I think that's mainly because he came off at half time and hadn't really been able to get into the game much. A couple of touches, a couple of runs, but not really. It's not really got into the game. I mean, part of that is because we've not been feeding him. So I'm going to give him a 5. Feel a bit harsh, but I'm sure Roy's going to give him less.
Steve?
He didn't have much chance in the game. First half, I think the Wolves players around him quite a lot, so he didn't give him much chance to get the ball out of his feet to get a shot. Yeah, I'd say a 5.
Yeah.
But if he hadn't had if he hadn't have had the injury, maybe the second half he'd have come on and maybe improved, but just didn't have much in the first half.
That's
I think a 5's more than 5 is more than fair. He did have a couple of good little jinky runs down the right hand side, strangely, not left hand side. But he's still not looking the Isaac from last season for me. Long way short.
Roy?
5 for me.
Yeah, I'll give him a 5 as well. And
You surprised me, Roy.
Yeah, but part of it is his fault, and part of the other problem is the rest of the players around him and the way we're playing now, and he's not getting the service. So unless he needs to drop back and start trying to get the ball and run with it.
That's it. I think we're going to see the different Isaac with Tonali on in the second half.
Yeah. So hopefully next week against Fulham, he starts. Tonali's
exactly
with Bruno and Willock, not Bruno and Joe Linton. So you'll see much better football and balls to the box and service.
Yeah, I mean, I've given him a 5. Do I agree with what you were saying there? Yes and no. I do think service is an issue up to him, but I still don't think he's a centre forward that likes to rough it up a little bit. When you're playing with a defence so deep, you need somebody who's going to step on toes and get stuck in a little bit. Very similar to the way Larson was doing against Burns. You make it uncomfortable for them. He's a big player. He's 6 foot odd. You get involved. It's that type of game for Isaac. He looked a lot better when he was able to come deep, collect the ball and turn. But when he's playing with his back to goal, he's just not involved enough for me. So 5. Let's go on to the subs then, guys. Willock. What do you think of Willock when he come on? Rowley.
I like Joe Willock. I think he makes us more dynamic going forward. And I think that once he actually got into the game, that's when we actually looked dangerous coming forward and got the goals. I just love the way he drives forward when he's got the ball at his feet. I think he's really dynamic like that. I thought that he helped turn the game. So I'm going to give him a 7.
Excellent. Steve?
Yeah. He made a difference when he came on. As I said, I think he should have started. Gamera should have been on the bench. I think we would have got more out of him then. But yeah, I think he can make a difference to our team on the left side. I reckon we can get more out of him this season because he didn't have much chance last season because of injury. So yeah, I'm giving him a 7.
Excellent. Win?
The 7 for me. I don't agree that he should have started, but definitely give him a 7 because he was instrumental, without a doubt, instrumental in turning the game. He did nothing really spectacular, but yeah, easy 7. Virgin on the 8 to be fair, but
yeah. 7 for me. If there was 7.5, I'll give him 7.5. What, 7?
Yeah, I'm changing this game.
Yeah, change the game when he came on, and I would be more than happy if he plays instead of Joe Linton in the next game or 2 or 3 until Joe Linton wakes up again. But
till he gets injured again.
Yeah, for me, he's a better footballer than Joe Linton at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've given him a 7, and I tell you because he played half a game, but he was the game changer for me. Able to progress the ball quickly with feet rather than passing the ball. Drew players on, covered a lot of ground, linked play well, and if you looked right at the end, he almost got Barnes through with a late through ball. just on the final whistle, which would have literally sealed it. So for me, definitely the game changer, but not man of the match. Tonali, Rowley.
I think this is a hard one for him. I think that he didn't have a big impact. He had that one shot at the end before we scored. It was a flick on. Some nice challenges, a couple of flicks, but nothing. I don't think he was the sort of he didn't have the same effect that Willock had. So again, as he only came on at half time, I think a 5 is what I'm going to go with, because he didn't. It's a bit like Bruno in that he was working, but they didn't seem to have much of an effect on the game.
Okay. Steve?
I thought he did okay. I'd say I agree with Rowley. He didn't have a massive impact. He had a couple of runs. But yeah, I'm going to give him a 6.
Okay.
He's going to improve. He's going to do really well with us. I suppose after the experience of within the Italian team again, hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll see something out of him.
Excellent. Win?
I'm surprised. I'm giving him an 8. I thought along with Willock, the difference we just stopped giving the ball away. That's Roy's mate Collins. One of his criticisms of Tonali is that the number of times he'll receive the ball and pass it back to the player that he got it from. And there was a passage of play in the second half when he did exactly that. But he did it 3 times with 3 different players. And both times he received the ball, passed it back. That player passed it to another player, who then passed it to him, and he passed it back to him, who passed it to the next player, who passed it to him, and we nearly created an opportunity for it. And it's those simple, dimple 5-10-yard passes that. And by the way, throughout that whole passage, we were moving forward, and we just, if that had been Sean Longstaff, you can guarantee that one of those 6 passes wouldn't have been. And when I say he passes it back with exactly the right amount of weight to give that person the time to look and say, what have I got on? And he gives it to the next guy, by which time Tonali has moved up and made himself available for the next man, and so on and so forth. So I thought he was sensational when he came on. 8 from him.
Roy?
Tonali 7. He just made the team look better. Like we looked more comfortable going forward. We looked more solid when he came on, and then positioning and stuff. It was just you can tell he's class, and he's got a few players who shouldn't be around him anyway in that team. And then we do play different than the way Italy plays as well. So once he gets used to this, he's going to be unplayable, I think.
Yeah, I've got him as a 7, mate. I agree with you. He had 2 shots on target. One was a cute little outside of his foot where he just used the pace of the ball.
That flick on was brilliant.
Yeah, but unfortunately, he went straight down Johnson's throat rather than into the corner.
That's right.
Because I think if the ball had bounced and spun away from him, it could have caused Johnson some issues. And I thought he was.
I think it's one of those occasions where he caught it too well.
Yeah, absolutely.
If he'd scuffed it a bit, he would have had more chance of scoring.
Yeah. But I mean, like I say, he did raise the bar a little bit when it goes when we were going forward, and he also showed good defensive instincts. So for me, a 7, I think is about right. Harvey Barnes, Rowley.
That's an 8. Again, instrumental in turning the game. Not so dangerous when he's got the ball at the edge of the box, and what a goal! What a goal! He almost gets 8 for the goal on its own.
Yeah, absolutely. Steve?
Oh, yeah, I think he had a massive impact on the game. I think he needs to start him more. I know he can come on, he's like a bit of a super sub, but I think he needs to get some full games under his belt. I reckon he'll make a massive impact, and I'm going to say at least an 8, maybe even a 9.
Win?
Yeah, I don't think it's quite a 9, but he's certainly an 8, and my man of the match, by the way. So 8 star, if you want. Just this is where you get. I can't wait to come on Eddie, because those 3 substitutions changed the game, did the business. They all performed their parts, and it worked. And that's the bottom line. It worked. So yeah, 8 for me, man of the match.
Roy?
I'll give him an 8 or a 7.998. So he's one of the top 3
How
players.
How many decimal places are we allowed to go to?
But it's because I gave Pope 8, so and Fabian Schär's 7.99, so he gets the 7.98. So yeah, him and Tonali changed the game, and I'm same as Win. I can't wait till we get to Eddie, but not because he was a genius with the subs. Yeah, not because he's a genius with the subs. It's because he's I'll say it when we get there.
Exactly. I've given Barnes an 8. Obviously, it was a bit of a surprise to see him dropped. Wasn't expected from my point of view, but for me, I thought he was the man of the match, with an incisive, direct play, capped off with a world-class strike to secure all 3 points. I mean, like I say, if you'd got an arrow and a crossbow like he shows, and was to aim at that top corner, you couldn't have any more precision than what he showed. So for me, it was an absolute worldie. Excellent finish. So yeah, man of the match for me on an 8. Kieran Trippier, Rowley.
How long was he on for? Because he was the second lot of subs.
20
was he on for about? Sorry,
about 25 minutes, wasn't it? About 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think he shored up the right-hand side of the defence, which was needed, and I think that the substitution was a good one, and possibly could have been made a little bit earlier. But I thought he was decent. I'm giving him a 6, mainly due to the lack of time he had on the field.
Okay. Steve?
As I said, yeah, he wasn't on long. He did make a difference. I felt more confident when he came on with the way Livramento was playing. So, yeah, I'm going to go with a 6.
Win?
And I'm going with a 6 as well. Yeah, his overall performance deserved better, but the 2 set pieces he took were garbage. So that's one of the reasons he's there. And I would have liked to see Tonali take them for a change. So 6 for me, yeah.
Roy?
I'll give him a 6 as well. Unfortunately, he's now a squad player. We're never going to see the Trippier we had 2 years ago or 3 years ago. So he's not going to get any better. He's going to get slower and worse. So, yeah, like Wayne said, the free kicks and corners and stuff. So, yeah, I'll give him a 6. So Tino starts, I think from now on, it's always Tino. And Trippier's on the bench.
Yeah, I
wouldn't
gave him.
necessarily say that, mate.
Sometimes.
I wouldn't necessarily say that. It's horses for courses. I would like to see, when we're playing away, either or, not both, Tino and Hall starting. So either Kelly starts instead of Hall, or Cripps starts instead of Tino. That's what I would like to see as a policy away from home now.
I think it depends on, like I say, if you can find a decent number 6 that likes just to drop back into the 3, it's nice to have them 2 on the park. But it depends on the system that you want to play. So it's like I said, for me, it's potentially either or. I gave Trippier a 6, like I say, offers more offensively today than Tino did, and it seems to calm the team down when we looked a little bit ragged at times towards the end. So yeah, I think he deserved a 6. Kelly, I haven't marked Kelly simply because I just didn't think it was fair. He only had the last few minutes on the park, so I'm just going to put that as a NR, not recordable. Going on to Eddie Murphy. Rowley. Yeah, I'm getting tired, as you can tell.
Surprised with his team selection and a couple of things. Surprised that he made 3 changes rather than just the one. Again, you'd have thought that Tonali might have started when things were going wrong. Eddie's been known as the 75-minute substitution man, but he made the subs at half time. So you've got to give him credit for that. And we won. So I'm going to give him 7 out of 10, realizing that it wasn't working and changing it. Not waiting for the 75th minute to make this change.
Good point. Steve?
Yeah, I think the changes, I think, were down to 1, I think Joe Linton being booked, 2, because he had a bit of a knock. We knew there's a chance that Isak weren't coming back after his facial injury. So yeah, I think it was very good substitutions at half time. Made a massive difference in the second half. Yeah, I'll give him a 7.
Win?
Surprise. I'm giving him an 8. You know, I give him a 4. 3 or a 4 for team selection. But his job is to get results. He made the selections. I said Eddie had to improve in 2 areas. A, he had to stop being as loyal and get his selection right. And B, his in-game management had to be more than just 60, 70-minute substitutions. Today, I think he got his selection all wrong. But if his plan was to keep some powder dry on the bench, and he didn't wait until 60 or 70 minutes to do it, he did it at half time. I think you could say he was unfortunate that Isak had to go off, because I don't think that would have happened at half time, and I think it could have been a completely different game if Isak had still been on the pitch with both Barnes and Gordon on. So I'm giving him a bit of credit for that. And the bottom line is we've got 3 points away from home on the Prem. That'll do for me, Doctor.
Right.
So there's 8 right
there. I'll give him a 5 because we won, and his subs were fine, but it would have been 3 or 2 for the starting lineup. And then one thing I'm not happy with is we bought Asula in the summer, and he's always been on the bench, which means he's part of the first team. So he hasn't played him even when Isak was injured, and we had 3 wingers on. And he could have easily took Murphy off, put Asula on, and moved Gordon to the right, or played Barnes on the right. Could have done that.
Yeah.
So I'm not happy with that bit. He's still not rotating the squad enough, even though he's done his little changes. But again, you've seen Tonali last week, and he still played Longstaff. I want to know what's going on inside his head. And he's not protecting him, because if he's protecting the players coming back from international, he wouldn't have played the lad who played 2 games in South America and Gordon. So, yep. So he's got his favourite players. That's what it is.
Well, every manager has their favourite players. We all have our favourite players.
Yeah, my favourite player would be like Isaac or Gordon, not Longstaff. So there's something in his...
There's obviously something there that the job he wants him to do, that he thinks he's the best to do it. I mean, I don't know why he makes the selections he does. Maybe he's trying to everyone's preparing for Tonali, so he gives them Longstaff instead. I don't know.
I
don't know what it is.
I don't think he's going to start again unless Tonali's injured or we're missing 1 or 2 of the lads in the middle.
Well, we hope.
He does.
I see him as a sporadic starter. I might probably start against Wimbledon.
Yeah, I'll play him there. I'll play him in the cup. I want to play him
in the cups. And as I said before, someone to bring on towards the end of the game in a game management sort of mode. But we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, for me, 6 points for Howe. Did what he had to do. You have to question the starting lineup, but again, you also have to have something on the bench to bring on. I do question some of the decision making because to me, sometimes, like I say, I do think Lady looks running with him at the moment. So he's still got points to prove in my eyes. But yeah, it was good. And again, thanks to everybody in the chat that's done that. Now, guys, I'm looking at the time, and I know it's Sunday evening, and everybody's at work tomorrow. And I've got a few highlighted. I can't go through everybody's, so I'm going to quickly go through ones. Beer said, we are really at the stage where we are praising Murphy for time wasting when the ball is out of play. Did nothing again today. If this was Miggy, he would be slated to high heaven. Yeah.
If this was Miggy, we would have lost.
Kyle has put down no reason why we cannot get top 4 this season. If we win next weekend, we will be top for at least 24 hours, which would be great. Lewis is asking, Win, how's your hollybobs? I hope it's well.
Excellent, thanks, Lord.
Waldo has put down, after 20 minutes, we were garbage. If you think we are top 4, you're living in cloud cuckoo land.
Absolutely.
I still think we're top 4.
Well,
and
there's a lot of football to
we
be
are top
played.
4, simple as.
If we win next week, the following game is City, and that's going to be the biggest game we've had in 30 years since we played Man U and lost. That is the biggest game since then.
Yeah.
Not 1-0.
The last one, the last question from Niall. One good thing is Eddie made changes at half time. Only negative, he didn't bring Asula for Murphy to give us a focal point up front. I couldn't agree more, mate, to be fair. Right then, guys, like I say, I think we've run our course. Thank you so much, Rowley, Steve, the mighty win over there in the Madeira, and obviously the Qatari king himself, Royston, the Punani man.
With the Persian.
Obviously, thank you. From myself, obviously, Gary here at home. Here we go. Thanks ever so much for staying with us. We've had more than 200 watching us all the way through. Again, thanks for your...
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Rory.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you please, all of you, while you're still in the chat, please just smash the like button before you go off. Anybody that's still watching, please smash the like button. It's been a pleasure to have you with us. Please subscribe if you're brand new. Don't forget to hit the bell because, like I say, we do a lot more content like this. And myself and I Potentially won't have Win tomorrow because obviously he's going to be sorting out his way back. But I will be on the channel. Yeah, absolutely. I will be on the channel around about 1 o'clock tomorrow lunchtime. If you want to join me, and I shall try and bring you any relevant news that I find between now and then, which ain't going to be a lot, but I shall be with you. But again, from my lovely self and my lovely panel, thanks for joining in, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
How are you, lads?